This evening, we're playing a game entitled Deep in the Dragon's Breath. It is a part of the Seven Swords campaign, which this ideal was found in a design from 2008, issue 2 of a design called Fight On. It's no longer in production, but the design itself was made for the OSR. There was an article entitled The Seven Swords. Several of us decided to take one of the swords and write an adventure for it and run it for the rest of us. Some of those people that elected to do so were not here tonight, unfortunately, due to scheduling and other things. But anyway, I decided to pick a sword called Dragon Bane. The seven swords of power were forged and issued to the seven champions, a band of masterful knights who wielded them to great effect during the last great war against the forces of evil. 6 of the 7 champions were killed during the fighting. Their swords were lost by the end of this war. In the 6th century since, the swords have appeared sporadically throughout history, but they never remained in the public eye for long before disappearing again for a generation or two. Sir Humfredus, the keeper of the cleansing flame, wielded the long sword known as Dragon Bane in this war. He was posthumously awarded the title of the last known Dragon Breaker. We flash back to that great war as we see Sir Humfredus, the keeper of the cleansing flame, and we see also his young squire, who was named Gildersleeve the Dashing, as they are climbing up into what is known as the Dragon Breath Mountains, looking for this massive red dragon that he has been ordered to bring justice on with the sword known as Dragon Bane. Unfortunately, Humfredus did not make it back from that battle. Stories tell as Gildersleeve the squire made it back. The story says that Humfredus mortally wounded this red dragon, and the red dragon fled to some type of deep cave system into the mountains itself. On their way back down from the mountain, unfortunately, the environment itself, nature, decided that it was time for Humfredus to end his career as an avalanche began and buried Sir Humfredus, the keeper of the cleansing flame. Gildersleeve was able to get out of the avalanche from being buried and returned back to the Count to report what happened, and report that the dragon had been mortally wounded and presumed dead. The dragon was never seen again, and as we know, the sword was returned by Gildersleeve at that time, but as history has shown, it disappeared, reappears. We find ourselves now, as our party has been called to report to the present Count, Thread Regalshine, who is the Count over this kingdom, has put out an urgent call for these 5 level 10 adventurers who are well known. Something urgent, something important has been called for them to come and see him. We begin with you, Yang. If you can tell me about who you're playing and what he thinks about when he gets the order to see the Count.
You see a tall, imposing figure in black armor draped in cape looming over his squires. His booming voice is confident and clear and reassuring, but the sound from his breathing is loud and strained. He unfurls a scroll of summon and reads through it and says, "The ability to destroy a dragon is insignificant next to the power of the faith. Remember that, my friends." And he turns over and says, "It seems Count Thread Regalshine has summoned me for a great quest. I shall be there promptly. Prepare my horses. Post haste. We shall go on an adventure. I'm playing Patriarch Garth Raider. He's a cleric, and he's been running a temple for quite a while. He's had some wild run-ins with various undead, and he's found fame by vanquishing some powerful vampire a few years back. So for the past 20 years or so, he's been running his temple, and he's been the patriarch of this particular stronghold. Yep,
sounds perfect. As he arrives at the very large castle of the Count, and we move over to you, Daniel. If you can tell us who you're playing and what she thinks about receiving the summons.
So in a gloomy tavern in the corner, you see a beautiful woman leaning on a table and staring at a cup of wine, obviously not given to her by the tavern, as the cup is golden with gems about a gilded cage on the table with a songbird, a cat around her feet. She seems to be talking to herself when the door busts open, a young man with a sword drawn. "Give me back my brother!" She looks up. "Boy, don't leave your kingdom with no princes." Swiftly he moves forward. She waves a hand. A mouse is on the ground. The cat has a new toy. As his men run out, knocking over the sage carrying the message, he seems surprised and brings it to her. She looks, before even opening it. The Count reaches down, lifts up her furs around her body, and heads out the door. I'm playing Valhor, the witch.
Perfect. As you reply to these summons yourself, we run over to you, Rush. If you can tell us who you're playing and how you feel about receiving the summons by the Count.
So, Jaren of the River Pines, making a unusual trip into the city or into the town. Strides in dressed in particularly fine leathers, with a cloak strung around his neck, carrying himself confidently, but not as one who would be conceited. And while they're conducting business with a local Bowyer and Fletcher, receives a summons and looks upon it with great interest. Somewhat curious as to why he would be summoned. He has helped out around the town occasionally, but not so much that he felt that he would be known well enough to be called. So he approaches and hands the summons over, and kind of looks around at the scantily clad woman and a man who he cannot discern if he is priest or knight, and just kind of looks toward those who summoned and say, I am Jaren of the River Pines, of the Greenleafs, and you have asked me to come to see you." And then he would begin to wait patiently.
Perfect. As he's sitting there waiting, we jump over to the next one who makes her grand entrance. Crystal, tell us who you're playing and the summons.
I'm playing Carla Bearhunter, a barbarian who was once kicked out of her own kingdom due to a corrupt uncle who thought that women should not be allowed to rule. But she returned to her home and showed him that women will be able to rule just fine. Over the course of a few years after that, she spent time making peace with the tribes that would be willing to bargain and help out forming a grand community, and those that didn't were crushed under the power of her army. But she's found out that this dragon has been actually manipulating their land for years, taking their treasures for itself. She'll stand for it no more. She stands now in a grand tent with a council of elders trying to talk her out of this insane plot she has. You do not know the power of this dragon. I do not care the power of this dragon. Like, this land belongs to my people. You all call yourself the strongest that humanity has ever seen, and yet you cower before an overgrown lizard. I will not stand for this. This dragon will be killed by my hand, one way or another. As she makes her speech, a young woman runs up and says, Chiefess Carla, this letter has just come for you. And she bows and holds up a scroll. Carla takes it and she opens it, and then she kind of like turns it upside down, and then she folds it back up and hands it to her advisor. Read this to me. The advisor opens it up and says, it seems that Duke whatever has called you to his kingdom. Carla says, it's about damn time. Armorers, help me with my armor. And the scene will cut away when she is on her warhorse riding towards the kingdom.
All right, sounds good. Stephanie, we jump over to you if you can tell us about your character and when they received the summons. And you are muted.
The tavern that the others are at, there's a bard there that Jakes is listening to, and the bard is singing a song about the cowards of that fear the wonderful dragon of the land, and everyone is, their ears are bleeding. They're throwing tomatoes at him, and she's the only one that appreciates his wonderful singing. Oddly enough, a server comes out to serve her a drink. She trips, falls, knocks over another server. The other server spills drinks on one of the tables. That starts a chain reaction of multiple tables all spilling drinks, spilling food. And Jinx is oblivious to this. A man comes in and delivers her the summons while all this chaos is going on, and she reads the summons that she's been summoned to the to help with this quest. And she gets up, bids her farewell to her friend the bard, and heads out while this chaos is going on in the bar.
All right, perfect. We jump forward in time as all of you arrive at the castle of the Count. You're brought into this room where you are seated as you five are waiting to hopefully visit with the Count and find out exactly what you've been summoned for. Maybe rumors have already started. The door opens, and a very tall, maybe 6'3" human male, pretty muscular and still well built for his age. He would appear to probably be in his early 60s, maybe mid 60s. Flowing gray hair with a full trimmed up beard and mustache as he walks in wearing his gray cloak. He looks towards you five as he's holding this very large book with both hands, very thick book, which would probably catch the eye of Val. She would probably know it's some type of either history type book or maybe some book involving spells or something. It's a very old tome. He goes and sits down at one of the chairs there, and he looks and he says, "Welcome. I am Garflail the Grey, one of the chief advisors to Count Regalshine. He's involved in a very urgent matter himself. Seems like things happen in fours around here, if you know what I mean. But welcome. There's a most important urgent matter that I need to discuss with you five. You've been called for the services that you can render to the kingdom based on the abilities and the skills that you have. I don't know if you know the story of the famous sword known as Dragon Bane, or if you know the story of Sir Humfredus, the keeper of the cleansing flame, who wielded that sword against the great evil red dragon known as Diganeth, the champion of the sky. But I will entertain any questions at this moment about that story that you would need to know."
So
Garth Raider. I'm sorry. Were you going to go ahead?
well, I was going to say, Jaren would politely raise his hand and say, "Well, I don't know of the sword. I have heard of the great worm that you speak of. Am I to assume that do you wish the sword found, or the dragon slain, or both, or?"
Well, as the stories have told, and you may have heard, the dragon was supposedly mortally wounded and died in its lair some 6 centuries ago when Sir Humfredus did this, but that is according to the story of his squire Gildersleeve, who was the only one to return alive from the mountain. He brought back the sword known as Dragon Bane, which stayed here in the kingdom for years and years. It disappeared a few times, but it was always returned. Up until about 2 generations ago, the sword disappeared. Had never been found since. There was no information, no evidence, no clue to what happened until 2 weeks ago. You see, one of the fellow wizards and advisors here of the Count, Quackaloo the Quiet, he met a natural death here. While I was searching his quarters, I found a secret compartment of a book that was hidden, an old tome. In fact, it's partially the one I have now with me, but it seems back then the wizard Envious, the Grey Robe, 2 generations ago. There's notes here that indicate he had done some studying and discovered that if he took the sword back to the mountain and did some type of ritual there at the mountain where the dragon disappeared into the cave, that this would completely ensure that great evil would never rise in his kingdom again. His notes speak of madness, though, of mind, just complete madness from the way he described this, but it appears that Envious stole the sword and has returned it to the cave system there in the mountains. And no one has returned to for years and years. Those mountains are dangerous. The Count has asked you 5, though, to make a journey there. You will meet a guide in the village of Redvale, which is just on the edge of the mountain itself, who is familiar with the area. He will take you to that location that he thinks that the dragon disappeared into from stories and legend, but your mission is to return the sword back to the Count and his family here for it to be displayed again like it always has been. As far as we know, the dragon himself was killed that day has never been seen since, but no one, of course, knows what trouble lies in those mountains.
So let me get this straight. A wizard used the sword to forever hold back evil, and you would like us to take it from that spot so you can put it on a shelf.
That is
That
the
sounds
order of the
about right.
count.
That sounds dopey.
It may sound most counterintuitive. I was but a learner when I left the city, but now I am a patriarch. Thus, I have found that things are usually more than what they seem. It seems that this Invieth, the Grey Robe, has taken the sword for a ritual. And he spoke of some madness. My belief is that he has taken the sword under an influence of some power to revive this great evil, and was perhaps deceived.
It very well could be. You must understand that Envious mysteriously disappeared those 2 generations ago. Everyone just thought he had left on his own accord. He was never seen from again until we found this book here. And understand that evidently he is the one who took the sword and went to the mountains, but no one knows what happened to him or the sword. We presume he did arrive at the destination. That is for you to find out.
So it's very possible what this gentleman just suggested, that it could be causing the dragon to return or other great evil.
No one is able to see in the future to know what transpires with any type of evil. Luckily, we have not had any great evil in many, many generations now, and let's hope we keep it that way. But there are other ways to do it. Besides, if the sword is located there, speaking in the madness that Envious did, there's nothing to indicate leaving the sword there would keep the evil at bay.
Okay.
May I ask a question? Are the bodies of the magician's apprentices buried in this area?
Yes, Quackaloo was buried in one of the local cemeteries here. Yes, he was.
So I turn towards Garth, and I look at him, and I walk up and put my hand on his chest, touching the holy symbol. Can you not speak with the dead, man?
The ability of the faith is great indeed. But to raise a dead that has been dead for centuries, it is something.
Jan, just to let you know, Quackaloo is the most recent one. He died like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, just to clarify.
Okay. But he still says, but the ability to raise a dead who has been dead for centuries is beyond me. However, if the man has been dead only for a few weeks, it is well within my power to bring him back.
I don't care if he comes back. I just want to ask him some questions.
Let us go and bring him back, so that perhaps he may be able to answer your questions.
Interesting.
When you say that, Garflell stands up from the table and he looks at you, cleric Garth, and he goes, "You know it is blasphemy in this kingdom to bring back the dead. You may go and use your abilities to speak to him, but if you actually raise the dead, the count will have you hung."
That is true. The Count is not as forgiving as you are. But that ability is beyond mine. I am not able to speak with him directly, but I may commute to my God, and he may relay the information that this body holds.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and then I'm going to turn to the man and say, "May I inspect the book?"
Yes, you may. Anyone may look at this book, and he pushes the huge tome over towards you, Val.
Take it. Okay. I shall study the tome. Shall we set forth in the morning once all the information has been gathered? Where's my bed?
Yes, you will be provided any equipment or anything before you leave to the village of Red Val. It will probably take you about 2 days to arrive in the village, and the person you're supposed to meet there local is a gentleman by the name of Knox, N-O-X. He's one of the locals there. I'm sure you'll find him at the tavern like most of the people of Red Val stay at. And you can tell in his sarcastic tone he does not think much of the village of Red Val at all.
Yeah. I step back. If nobody else has anything to say, I'm going to retire to my room and study the book.
How far is this village?
You would know roughly that they'll provide horses if you don't have horses, but to get there, it's going to take you roughly a day and a half, close to 2 days to arrive.
Okay. Well, that for Jaron, that would have been his concern, was that my people all know how to ride, but I do not possess a horse of my own. So if there's one that can be made available, that would be extremely helpful.
Oh, but of course, you will be escorted to the stables there in the morning and pick out one that best suits your frame.
Very good.
Val, we'll start with you if you inspect the book during the evening. And part of the book has the story of Sir Humfredus. It tells the story of him and how brave of a warrior that he was, one of the greatest knights to ever live. And you read his story and read from Gildersleeve the Dashing, the squire. You can read the history of when he returned with the sword, and it all details pretty much out what you've been told. The dragon was mortally wounded and retreated back to some cave there in the mountains. Humfredus was wounded himself, but not deathly wounded until the avalanche started. And it also shows the body of Humfredus was never recovered, even though a team was sent out to try to locate it. They never recovered a body. The dragon was never seen again. When you jump up to the local history here about 2 generations ago, you start reading about Envious, the Grey Robe, one of the Count's main wizards, and it seems like he was just enthralled with this, and he just studied and made notes about the day and about the Great War and the 7 champions. But you start to see where he starts slipping in his descriptions of things, and he starts talking about that the sword has got to be returned to the mountain to protect releasing any form of evil from that mountain. If it's not returned, and he does some type of ritual, and finally it just goes into just like a child's scribble of notes that he's writing and things. I mean, it just something changed him evidently close to the end, and then it just completely stops. The story does, the notes he made.
Okay. Is there anything that he references that he discovered something and that's the reason why he knows this? Like he read something somewhere else, or he found an object, or he saw he had a dream, or anything like that?
No, he gives no indication of why he thought this. I mean, like you said, it started out methodically, very educated, well-read person, of saying this, and then it just started gradually going down with just scribbles and one notes and one lines and one words of just pure madness. It was written, really.
Okay. All right, just to be safe, I mean, as the course of the night goes on, I'm going to cast Detect Magic, read magic, and read languages on it if need be. So just to see if there's anything hidden that I can get through it.
Yeah, you do that, and you do get a faint touch of magic on the book itself, just from what the book is and who has handled it through the years. And but as far as any secret passages or locating anything that would indicate anything hidden behind something, no, not at all.
Okay, then I will drink wine to keep my body warm and sleep tonight.
Alrighty. And of course, like I say, the count, they will provide any equipment, anything, horses for people who need it the next morning. But you're fed a well-rounded meal that evening, and of course, probably some of the greatest rooms you've ever slept in. But nothing else. We can jump to the next morning. Nothing else happens. You never see the count.
I'm sure to thank them.
The next morning, you're greeted by Garflow again as he takes you to the stables. Yes, John.
Could the priest cast something?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
I want to cast the 5th level spell, Commune. He could cast it. He could ask his god to provide answers to 3 of his questions.
All right.
Okay. So he casts it. You see him knelt down in his bedroom floor, and he's chanting. And he says, "I summon thee, my master." And he's kneeling, and he looks up, and he asks, "I wish to know if the dragon lives, my master."
You hear back in your mind, the dragon lives in a different form than it was.
The second question he asks, was it the dragon that compelled Envious to take the sword?
No. Envious went completely mad himself.
He finally asks, where is the sword located?
The sword is in a cave in the Dragon Breath Mountains, where the dragon last retreated into.
And then he bows and says, in your honor, may my actions bring you glory to my lord. And he retires.
All right. Would you share that with any of them about your communion the next morning or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Oh, interesting. Perhaps the dragon has used a magic which I master myself, with the ability to transfer their soul. This is dangerous magic, and we must find the source, if it be the case. Also, how common are dragons?
Oh, I didn't hear you. What'd you say, Dan?
How common are are dragons in general?
Like now, present, not at all. You don't. Dragons have not really been seen for centuries now. Since then, they're not common. You still hear rumors of them, but as far as anybody actually seeing them, no.
So would people freak out if they saw one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to turn my horse into a dragon. What I am going to do though is one of my servants, and we're going to go out to the field. I'll bring the party with me. And I'm going to turn my servant into a rock. I have a 95% chance to be able to do it. Hold on. Yeah, 80, so that should work. So, a rock should be big enough to transport everybody, right?
Yep.
Yep. And I say, we're much faster to fly, men. And I turn the servant into a rock.
The cleric says, impressive. Most impressive.
So I think the best bet here is to get a wagon. And we'll sit in it, and the rock can pick the wagon up and fly us. That's probably the best way. I'll ride on its back like an awesome naked lady, but the rest of it. If that's okay. That's the plan.
Yep, you can do that, and they would give you a wagon. Garflow would make sure you have anything you needed.
Okay. Yeah, if nobody's afraid to do that, I think that's faster.
I make sure my horse is well tended to while we go on this trip.
Oh yeah, they'll take real great care of it.
So Jaren would sit there and watch all of this with this look on his face like, I'm the only one who thinks this is really strange. And then he'd just kind of shrug his shoulder and say, you look like you can look over at I'm sorry, Daniel. Look over at Val and say, well, you've done this before?
No, never. And then I jump up on the
So he just kind of looks at everybody else, shrugs, and would just kind of climb up in the wagon.
I've done stranger.
The faith is strong in this one.
He would look at Jinx with wide-eyed, like, and just not say anything.
So I say, fly, my songbird, and we fly to the city. I don't know how much faster it'll be, but it should be faster. I'm assuming flying than it would be the horse.
Yeah, we're going to say you. We're going to say you actually do enough time. You don't encounter anything. The weather is clear and perfect. You actually get there at the end of that day. I mean, it's probably an hour before dark. Instead of a day and a half, you can get there pretty much in a day's time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll like land maybe like a half an hour or so walk from the town, so we don't fly in on a giant bird. And I'll use dispel magic to turn him back into my servant.
Perfect. Yeah, because
Fluffy.
most of you wouldn't know about the village of Red Veil, really. I mean, it's just a small village on the outskirts of the mountain range itself, but you'll soon discover what the village is. But yeah, if y'all want to proceed on in and foot into the village, you do. You walk into a village, and you can tell most of the buildings itself are in need of repair and in need of care, paint. Most of the boards are warped, rotted. I mean, it's just the whole village appears to be in disrepair itself. Most of the people you see walking around are wearing very shoddy work-type clothes. Maybe some of them wearing mining clothes that maybe go up into some of the mines on the edge of the mountains itself. But you can tell that this is just a very poor village itself. And you see, they told you to look for Knox, that he would probably be at the tavern now. And sure enough, you see a sign that is hanging down, swinging from holding on by one bolt. And it says the Raging Tankard is the name of it. And it's got a half dissipated photo of this big tankard with this overflowing deal, and it's just like spewing out of the top of the tankard. So you would know that's probably a good place to start looking for Knox.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. I look towards the rougher of the party, probably Carla, and I say, perhaps this is a place better suited for you.
Carla will crack her neck and her knuckles, and then she'll proceed inside the place.
I smack her by the shoulder.
You notice that some of the people are watching you five as you're walking in, of course, that you're probably dressed much better than anyone they ever see, of course. So you've definitely taken note of your party as you enter the Raging Tankard. You see about 10 people in here. The inside is pretty much like the outside. It's in need of care. It appears to be old wooden tables and chairs, an old bar itself. You notice a group of some people who are playing darts, throwing darts. They pay you no mind as you come in. But seeing the gentleman behind the bar is what catches your attention. He's got a huge scar running down his face with this very light, freckled skin, this very long and flowing, loose blonde hair, real skinny, almost rat looking in a way. As he's wiping there on the bar, just wiping and looking at you five. He doesn't even speak to you as you five come in, though.
Carla will walk up to the bar and she'll say, she'll put a gold piece on the counter. She'll say, give me the strongest drink you have, and serve those guys too. And she'll nod over at her friends.
He looks at you as he's still wiping. He's not looking up, though. I'm sorry. He's looking down as he's wiping. He goes, "You more of a dog or an orc?"
I'm whatever you need me to be. Just give me the strongest drink that you have.
No, you remind me more of a dog.
Jinx smirks.
You see him take a tankard as he turns around and fills it up out of his deal. He slams it down where about the first top of it just spills out on the deal. He says, "How about the dog and orc? That's what we're serving today."
A hellhound, then? That sounds good to me.
I mean, you walk up to somebody who's sitting down and I say, "Okay, I bet 3 gold pieces that she takes this bartender across the bar in the next 2 minutes."
Yeah, you sit down next to an older gentleman, very short, squat, older gentleman, bald-headed. He looks at you and he goes, "She don't know who she's messing with."
Sharon would lean over to Val and say, "Make it 4 and you're on."
I slide the 4 into the center of the table. And I say to him, "Doesn't matter. She doesn't know who she's ever messing with."
So Carla will take the drink that he's poured for her, and she'll chug it.
It is stout, but it's probably something you're used to and something you like. And he goes, he's still looking down, wiping the counter where he spilled that at, and he goes, "You want a bowl of fish stew? It's probably cold by now, but you look like you probably could use one."
She'll finish chugging her drink that he pours her, and she'll slam the mug down on the table, and she'll say, "Yeah, fish sounds great. Pour me another one of those too." And then she says, like, you know, "And also I said to take care of my friends over there."
He stops wiping and takes his hand off the barkeep towel, and he says, "Why don't you wipe the counter while I go get your friends some fish stew and you and another refill? Don't miss any right there, please."
"Why don't you wipe my ass?"
Jinx smirks.
He turns and he actually, it started off walking off, and this time he turns and he looks straight up at you and he goes, "Does this smell like dog or orc?"
Why don't you come find out? Sure, you got some empty rooms in this place, huh?
"I've got 2 rooms, that's it. But you're lucky. There's 5 of you. I guess 3 of you can sleep in one and 2 in the other. And by the way, they're a gold piece each."
Gold piece each in a dump like this. All right, sure, why not? She throws 3 gold pieces up on the counter. "And I told you to serve my friends."
He turns back around without saying anything, goes behind into what you would think would be the kitchen. Shortly, he comes back out with a big tray of this smelly fish stew that is probably very cold by now. But he sets a bowl in front of you and he takes the rest to your friends and takes them a mug of dog and orc ale.
Carla will return to the table with her friends, and she'll start digging into her stew.
It really doesn't taste
delicious
bad.
to her.
Yeah, it really doesn't taste that bad, but it's cold as can be.
She'll look over to the naked one and say, "Hey, can you warm this up?" Talking to you, Daniel.
Is there a candle on the table or anything?
There is not. It is bare. This whole place is bare.
Well, I say, unfortunately, I cannot. However, I've heard that cold fish stew is a delicacy in some places. This old man that's here, I look at him and I say, where does the fish come from?" Is it from the sea or from a river?
He looks up and he opens his mouth and he's got several teeth missing. And he goes, up in the streams and the mountains up there, but ain't too many people go up there. You know, there's dragons that live up there.
I've heard that dragons enjoy fish. Makes sense.
They enjoy pretty girls like you too.
Do I notice any banjos?
Nope.
Okay.
There's no bards here.
I'm not worried. All right. So I say, yes, yes. Dragons do have fondness for pretty girls. And thank you. That was quite a compliment and a blush. We're seeking. Oh crap! Where did I write it? I say the name of the man we're seeking. I'm sorry.
Knox.
Knox.
Yeah. If you ask him about Knox, he turns around and points to a table way off where there's a single guy sitting and appears to be almost child, or not child, but very young. He's probably in his young 20s, but he's very baby-faced. He appears to be slim build. He's wearing leather armor, and you see this old beat-up wooden shield that he has leaning against one of the table chairs. He has this very curly, flowing red hair that comes down almost shoulder length. He says, that would be Knox.
Ah.
Thank you, sir.
He looks like a good one. Never trust a man with a clean shield. I sit and enjoy my stew with the old man.
Yeah, and he starts telling you stories of dragons, and you can just tell he's just spouting stuff off. He has no idea what he's talking about.
Has he mentioned how the dragon kills people?
He says usually that they will grab you by their claws, and like they're picking their fingernails, but they're picking your flesh off your skin.
Okay. So like to tear you apart.
Yep.
That sounds horrible.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go on.
What do you do here in the town, good sir?
Not much anymore. And you've not noticed this up until this time, as he's sitting up under the table and he pushes himself back out and he throws a wooden leg up on the table and he says, not much since I got this, but nah, wasn't a dragon.
What was it? Green slime?
It was a pretty lady like you.
This I believe. And I'm going to wave to the bartender if he looks to get more drinks for the old man and me. While they, I guess, interview Knox, if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going over to Knox. Bring him my fish stew and drink.
When you approach him, Jinx, he looks up. He's noticed you. Of course, your group has come in, but he looks up and he goes, I've been expecting you all. You stand out like a red dragon does.
Yep. So I've been told.
So I guess you're the group the Count has sent for me to escort up into the mountains and try to find the legend.
That would be us. And I take it you're Knox.
Yes, I am. And once you get up close enough and see, he looks very baby-faced, and he looks like he probably would be 15 or 16, but you would realize that he's probably in his early 20s again. He looks almost too young to even be doing what he's doing.
Tony, just as an aside, I'm casting Detect Thoughts, ESP, on him, so I can read his thoughts.
Oh, Knox or the old man?
No, on Knox. I guess if the duration's long enough, maybe I'll move it around. But I'll start with him. Just while I'm not like trying to probe super deep, but just while he's engaging with the party, I just want to see if he has any like odd, like aha, I'm going to bring you up there and strangle you, that kind of thought. Otherwise, I'm not going to probe too deep because I don't want him to notice it.
Perfect. This is what you get from Knox, is he's sitting there conversing with Jinx, and if the others approach also, but you get from him that this is nothing about anything, that he was paid probably pretty well, because you see him keep reaching and fooling around with his belt pouch like he's making something still there on his belt. And you also get that he's very nervous, and you feel like the nervousness is probably from something that he's done or he's trying to get away from. But yeah, he has no ill thoughts towards any of you at all. He's doing this strictly for the money he was paid.
Okay.
Do I notice that he's nervous?
Roll me a d6.
One.
Yeah, you notice. I mean, you will not pick up on it like Val has, but you definitely see him. He's moving around and twitching some, and you can tell that he's nervous, but you have no idea what's causing it.
Am I keeping you from something?
Oh no, I'm just sometimes you have to stretch in this leather armor. I just want to do this job and get you up there and do whatever y'all are supposed to do. It's just I get nervous about things like this.
Have you done much work like this before?
Why do anything that pays coin? It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Did who all went over to this guy?
I know Jinx did. I'm not sure about Jaren or Garth.
No, Jaren's basically staying at his table, just kind of. He's a little afraid of the dog and orc stew, as well as the fish, or dog and orc beer and the fish stews. He's just kind of picking at the bread.
When Jinx walked over to meet Knox, did she take her food and or drink with her?
Yes, I did.
Darn. All right, I see that the rogue isn't eating his, so Carla reaches across the table and grabs his stew and drags it to herself and starts eating it.
Whose stew are you grabbing?
Now he's not eating it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I didn't hear.
if it's mine, he would just kind of say, wave it off, and say, "Yes, please, enjoy."
The priest looks at him and says, "Be careful not to choke on your aspirations."
But yeah, Jinx, as you're sitting there talking with Knox and noticing his nervousness, but did you use your group? I guess y'all want to rest the night, and we could start out in the morning. It's not an easy job to get up in the mountains. I've got the gear we need, but it's going to take some time to get to where we need to go.
Sounds good. Any precautions you recommend?
I would dress. It gets cold in those mountains where we're going. I would make sure you bring plenty of heavy clothing and some type of good boots because we're going to have to do some climbing.
Okay, I'll pass the word. Thank you, Knox.
You see him shortly after Jinx. You see him, and the rest of you would see he finishes his bowl of fish stew and his drink, and he leaves abruptly.
I pass the cautions onto the other party, onto the rest of the party about the clothes and boots. Getting gear and stuff like that. We don't already have it.
Well, I doubt they're going to have stuff in a village like this. That kind of stuff. Also, they said there's only one room available, so we're all going to have to share a place. But don't worry, you can all sleep with me.
Jaren would mention, my kind doesn't really sleep much, so I'll be able to fend for myself outside for the most part. I think it's not too cold.
Well, if your kind doesn't sleep much, it's because they've never been with me.
Maybe so.
Tony, I'm going to lean forward to the old man and kind of look him in the eyes and say, "Whereabouts do you stay, old man?" And I'm going to cast Charm Person on him.
All right.
So I guess
he will fail his save.
Okay. What I want to do is go back to his place so I can have a bed sleep, and I'm just going to have him sleep on the ground. Or perhaps he can sleep in a chair or something, whatever's, not completely crap. And keep the fire stoked.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But you see the bartender come over to your group, and as he's seeing you sit there, Carla and the rest of them, he walks up to that table and he lays out these 2 keys. He says, "Here's those room keys that you paid for."
I pick one up. I grab one and head up to the room. See you upstairs.
All
right, come on, priest. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a real god. Come on.
He breathes heavily. And he says, my vows keep me to my faith. I must seek the temple within the town. And is there a temple in the town?
If you ask and inquire, no, you find out they don't have any type of temple here, but this is, no.
Yeah, he grudgingly follows Carla.
So Jaren would make his way to the outside.
Yeah, and as y'all prepare for your evening ritual and things, you've heard some stories in the tavern itself during the night that may or may not assist you. So I'll start with you, Garth. Roll me a d12, and I'll tell you what you're going to hear.
Okay. 6.
You hear a story about a merchant there in town by the name of Tain, T-A-I-N, Tain, but he's doing some type of forbidden research into some alchemic potions and is trying to perfect some type of poison to sell on the black market. Val, roll me a d12.
12.
Whew. All right. This is what you hear. And you're going to hear it from the old man once you get to his house. He tells you, because he's a storyteller, and this will actually fit into the stories he's been telling you. He tells you that up in the mountains that he's heard stories from some of the miners and fishermen that went up there, that there's some type of demonic cloud that appears out of nowhere, and as it starts howling, the wind will start howling, and flames just appear out of this demonic cloud, and they just start shooting all around. And that these flames are coming from the body or the soul of the dragon. That's what he tells you.
Oh, wow. Okay. That sounds...
All right, see Jaren. A D12.
Where's my D12? Okay, there it is. I got a 5.
You hear a story that somewhere up in the mountains, there's supposed to be a buried chamber up there that just has these untold riches that nobody's ever found. That it's some type of chamber that is put in there centuries ago of some maybe buried duke or count or something. And they put all his riches into this buried chamber in the mountains, but no one's ever found it.
This is something I hear.
Yeah, it's a rumor. It's a rumor you hear there at the tavern that evening.
Okay.
All right, Carla, D12.
I rolled a 1.
You hear a bunch of grumbling and rumbling from some of the businessmen who you would think be businessmen in the tavern, and that they're complaining about that the count is really sent y'all there to levy more taxes on them. That you're doing some kind of pre-investigation or finding out what you can about the village because the count's coming in with some forces to levy more taxes on them and make them pay.
I would laugh at this rumor and say, I already have so much gold, I don't know what to do with it. What would I do with more?
All right. How about Jinx, D12?
11.
11? You also hear a story that someone tells you about a dragon. And it's very unusual y'all keep hearing these stories about dragons since they haven't been seen in years and years. But you hear someone talking about a dragon that was called Suduga, 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 and how it laid ruin to the original village of Red Vale many, many years ago. We'll jump over to you for just a minute, Val, as you follow the old man home, and he goes to this little one-room shack hovel that is very sparse, and he tells you the story that you were just informed of, and sure enough, you find a comfortable enough rest that night as he sleeps there in some type of a wooden chair with a blanket pulled around him. And unless anybody else wants to do anything that evening, we can jump to the next morning as you're supposed to meet Knox there pretty much after daylight.
No, but I'm going to leave him a small pouch of like silver or something.
All right.
And a kiss on his forehead.
He's still sleeping when you leave.
I tuck him in. Okay, yeah, and then I go out to meet Knox. So I'm going to. I'm not going to change up any of my spells. I think I'm good for the journey. Okay. So I'm going to, of course, get my stuff. So I'm dressed in covered head to toe in these like elegant furs. They look way too nice to be wearing for this kind of purpose, but I'm doing them anyways.
All right.
Earmuffs as well.
When you find meet Knox there in front of the tavern early the next morning, you see he has a mule loaded down with several type of equipment and supplies and things that you will need, and he's dressed in this leather armor and has that old wooden shield slung across his back, and it appears that he has a dagger and this very huge wooden club at his side, and he's there waiting, and he says, well, you know, it's going to probably take us, depending on if we run into ice and snow, it may take us, I'm thinking 2 days to get to where the stories tell us to go.
2 days. It's a long time. Okay.
Well, it's a treacherous trail. You don't understand. We're going to have to do some rope and grapples and things to get to where we've got to go. It's not easy.
Okay.
Okay. Ready. Prepared.
Okay.
And sure enough, you start out and head up into the mountains, and the first part of it's very very easy. The day, pretty much the first day goes by very well, and Knox, knowing a little bit about the area, selects a decent place for you to camp that night. He tells you that we definitely need to set up and watch though, because getting up on where we are now, but there are still the mountain lions and different creatures that roam these mountains at night. And that there's also stories of barbarian tribes that come down to the lower edge and try to catch some of the merchant caravans coming through and raid them. So,
what tribe? What tribe do they hail from? I'm sorry. Am I there?
Yeah. When you ask him that, he says, "I don't know. I mean, they go by different names like wolves and foxes and tigers. They've got all these weird names. I don't know, man. I don't keep up with stuff like that."
All right.
Tigers and bears.
Yeah, lions, tigers, and bears. That's it, I think.
Lion, tigers, and bear tribe. Yeah, they're pretty prominent around here.
Yeah, they're a bunch of jerks too, because they raid those merchants, and they usually don't kill you, but Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't like dealing with them.
All right, when we set up our camp, Tony, I'm going to cast plant growth. So up to 300 square feet of ground can be affected by the spell. Ungrowth in the area suddenly grows to an impassable forest of thorns and vines. The caster can decide the shape of the area, so I'm going to make a loop, a circle around us.
All right.
Alternate version, what a spell, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, that's like a barrier. So basically, I'm going to build a wall of thorns around us using this spell. Yeah.
Perfect. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably still want to keep watch, but this will at least keep any ground creatures away. Somebody has an axe or something, right? So we can cut it down in the morning.
Carla?
Yeah. Carla's definitely got that covered.
Okay, perfect.
All right, let's get a watch order. Who wants to go first?
Carla.
Are we starting before it's dark? Because I don't have. Some people have. Oh no, there's no night vision in this, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Nobody, none of y'all have it. Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
Carla.
And also, Rush, you would need to know because it's come up last night about elves. The way I actually do elves, I mean, you will not need to sleep the whole night, but it's kind of like you're going to have to get a 4-hour rest somehow. I mean, you would need to get that. You would know what these elves do. But Carla, you wanted to go first?
Yeah, Carla will go first, and she's gonna have to chop down everything in the morning. She'll take first watch, and then she'll sleep through the night if she can.
All right. Who wants second?
Sharon will go second.
All
I'll take
right.
third.
Jinx on third. What about fourth?
I'm going to go last, if that's okay.
So, yeah, Garth, you will be fourth.
Yeah, I'll be fourth.
And Val. All right, Carla. You go by, nothing happens. You don't hear any noises besides the natural weather. And you've noticed it is starting to seem to get cooler now than it was definitely at the Red Veil. I mean, you're going up in the mountains, so it's definitely going to cool off, but it's no snow or ice or anything you've noticed yet. But your night goes by fine. Jaren, same thing. Nothing happens. Jinx, it's super quiet. You almost fall asleep on your watch. It's so quiet. Garth, same thing. Nothing happens. Val, at the beginning of your watch, as you're beginning to get set in and things, you hear a kind of noise, some rocks sliding down off of the mountain. As you look and see, you see a large humanoid figure standing there. Appears to be covered in all these furs and stuff. Very large, muscular build. And he has something slung across his back. You catch just a glimpse of him as he takes off running away back into the mountains.
Okay. Is he larger than man size?
Well, no, you would think he's, he looked 7 foot tall, but you would think he's probably just a big, from
He's like a big dude.
shadows and stuff. He's just a big guy.
So he's not like 20 feet tall or anything. Okay. Well, I see him, and I say to myself, we'll have to investigate that area when everybody gets up. And I keep an eye just in case he comes back, but I don't follow at this point.
Yeah, and you don't see him the rest of your watch. I was at the beginning of your watch. You don't see him the rest of the evening or hear any kind of debris scattering or anything at all. It goes by pretty smooth up until daylight as we start the second day in the mountain.
Okay. So when we get up and we're having breakfast or whatever, I go to Jaren and I say, so we had a visitor last night.
I just look over at her and say, "You had one."
A visitor was seen by my eyes, standing on the rocks. Here, and I have my point, a gesture. I say, I have heard of the elves of the River Pines to be excellent trackers. Perhaps this is something you should look at after you've had a nice breakfast. Are you sure?
Yep. In fact, I eat pretty light, so he would gather a few things and then basically immediately go. And well, first of all, what did you see?
There seemed to be a man, a tall man, or a short giant, but more likely a tall man. With furs, suitable for the weather, standing and observing, but running off once he was seen, which makes me think he does not want to be seen.
So, does he know you saw him?
I believe so.
Okay. So he would walk over to go look at the spot where the gentleman was.
Yeah, you climb up there very easily on foot and stuff. I mean, and as you look at it, sure enough, you see very large human footprints that are mashed in part of the soft area of the rock and ground there. And you can see the direction where it run off back into the mountain range itself. But yeah, you definitely find some footprints there of a single person.
Huh. Okay. Does it look like it was heading into the direction of the town we're traveling to, or can I tell that?
You can tell that Knox really hasn't told you what direction you're going on the second day, but you can tell it is going back further, higher up into the mountains itself. So it possibly could be the way you're going to go once Knox leads you out.
Okay. All right. Well, then I would walk back and kind of share that with everyone and just tell them that there's definitely tracks over there, but it looks like that whoever was there made off, and it was during the night, so catching him would probably be pretty difficult.
You think that the barbarian ran off? No. He's going to gather forces. He'll probably catch up with us later in the day. I'll talk to him if it comes to any kind of hands. Not many clans want to mess with White Rock.
Practically, that's what I would do. I'd have a scout the area, then have forces surround us and take us out.
Should they come across us, it would be wise to have them join us in our quest.
They won't join us.
Yeah.
They've been here this long, avoiding the dragon. They'd continue to avoid the dragon and continue to raid.
He points at her and says, "Do not underestimate the power of the faith."
Yeah, faith doesn't really have anything to do with this. She's right. They're bandits. I may be able to convince them to not bother us, chieftain and all, but that's going to be about the best I can do. There's going to be no way that they're going to join us.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Go right ahead.
As y'all are having this discussion, Knox is cleaning up the breakfast stuff, and he's listening intently. He looks towards you, Garth, and he goes, "These barbarians here are not going to deal with anyone, not even her," as he looks towards Carla, and he goes, "Well, I can tell you what he was doing. He was trying to scout us out to see if we have anything valuable, and if he thinks we do, there'll be 20 or 30 of them on top of us before this night falls, I can assure you."
They still listen to their chief's command. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess they would, but what does that have? I don't know. What are you trying to say?
I will bequest them. I will give them the quest to join us, or be perished.
He looks at you and starts scratching his red curly hair, and he goes, "I imagine they're going to choose the parish."
Yeah, you really don't know barbarians that well. Just got to say. We're a proud people. We won't be threatened or bullied. You ain't no motherfucking bully.
Language, young lady, I say as I approach. I tap the cleric on the shoulder. Don't worry, those who have little faith often perish first. Shall we move on?
Yeah, we got a long day ahead. We better get started now because If they come after us, we don't want to have to fight them at night, not in these mountains.
Trust me, that's when we'll be fighting them.
I haven't lived all of these 15 years by fighting constantly.
I have.
I'll stay back.
Difference between a warrior and a wizard right there.
Huh.
In the meanwhile, the priest is preparing a spell as he continues on.
All right. Y'all start day 2, the morning in the mountains, as Nox leads you up. And the first couple hours is great. I mean, you're thinking, he's talking about, having to trudge up and use ropes and hooks and levers and things to get up this mountain, but you've not seen any of that yet. But sure enough, y'all stop for an early lunch. He makes you stop and have an early lunch, and he goes, well, it's fixing to get the part I was telling you about to get to where we need to go. I'm thinking we're doing pretty good. If y'all could do some climbing without falling and hurting yourselves, we'll probably be there by nightfall. At least I think we will, but you better eat up. 10 minutes, we got to go.
Sounds good to me. Eat up. Drink seats up.
You enjoy your 10-minute break. And sure enough, you move along about 15 more minutes into the mountains, and it starts getting steep and steeper and steeper. And you're wondering about, this is really not the way that we're going to have to go. But Nox keeps going that way, and he stops down at the far base of this incline of the mountain, and he says, well, we're going to have to leave the mule and stuff here, and we're going to have to go on our own. He starts grabbing rope and hooks and stuff.
Okay.
Nox, look me straight in the eyes.
He does.
Are you being straight with us?
Of course I am. I told you that I was paid well enough to bring you up here. I'm going to do what has to be done, and I'm good at climbing. I don't know about you, but you're fixing to try to learn.
Okay.
The dark, imposing figure of the cleric steps up towards him. Doom, doom, doom. And he looms over him as he leans closer to his face and says, you want to tell us the truth. I shall ask you a few questions. If you do not, consider that as a blasphemy, and your soul shall be in danger. Now, tell us who has hired you.
I was hired by the Count, the same person who hired you.
And what did he instructed you to do?
My instructions are to bring you to the area that we think the cave, or the Count and his entourage thinks that the cave of where this dragon disappeared centuries ago. That's the purpose of my job.
Okay.
And tell me, why do I sense that there is something hidden about you?
Well, my personal life has nothing to do with you. Here, hold this. And he pushes ropes and grappling hooks and stuff towards you.
Is there like a role that he could make, with the charisma too?
It's
Intimidation check or anything like that?
No, I think Nox is being legit with us.
What's your charisma?
His charisma is 16.
Also, you get a roll me a d6.
Plus 2. 1d6. He gets 3.
With a 3, you got just enough, 3 out of 6. I'm going to say that you feel Nox is being level with you. You also feel that there's something else going on with him that maybe is not related with you and your group, but his nervousness is dealing with something else. But you think he's being as level as he can.
Okay. He relents and grabs the hook.
So I walk up to Nock and I say, I'm sorry for the group They're often on edge. But I think we all have secrets, don't we? And I reach out to touch his face, and then I turn into a hawk using polymorph, and I fly to the top.
Turn into a hawk and fly, okay?
I'm just going to fly up to the top. I'll fly up a bit, and I'll watch and wait. Well, actually,
and once you fly up in the air, you can see the area you're going to. You see how rugged it is, and it's going to take some time to get up to the top. I mean, you can tell this is rugged, that he's not lying about it. It's going to take ropes and hooks and things. This is going to be a very arduous task to get to where you need to go.
Does it seem that I could be helpful by like flying ropes to the top, or it's just not something that I don't know?
Yeah, you would be able to lift some ropes up there and stuff to help get them secured, sure.
Because this will last for 10 hours, so I have all the time in the world. So I'll fly down and grab the end of the rope or whatever, and fly it up to a place and hook it and do whatever I can as a hawk. I mean, I'm a bird. I have my own intelligence, but I am a hawk, so I can't really do anything else besides that.
Yeah, and as y'all progress up this and it gets steeper and steeper, every one of you test your dex, 4d6 against your dex score, and you need to get equal to or less than your dex. If you fail, let me know. If you pass, you don't have to.
Made it.
I failed.
Goodness, Carla, you're the only one that failed?
Yeah, Jared is good.
Carla, tell me
Hold on, guys. Yeah, go ahead with Carla. I'm just gonna look up my stats. Give me one.
Sure.
Second. It's 4d6, right?
46, yep, 46 against your dex. Carla, you tell me how halfway up you slip and fall enough to take 3 points of damage as you're falling, and they have to catch you and pull you back up somehow.
Yeah, Carla is climbing up the surface of this rock, and she's reaching out for what she thinks is a vine, and then she realizes it's a snake, and she kind of looks at her team, and she knows that if her team sees it, they're gonna kill it. So she's trying to like swoosh it away, like go little snake, like get out of here. And as she's doing this, she loses focus on what she's doing, and one of the rocks under her massive feet crumble, and she falls back down to the ground. But when she hits the ground and looks up, she sees the snake like crawling her way, and she's like, well, at least the snake is safe.
And then a hawk flies down and eats the snake.
Carla's laying there in her plated bone armor, and she's just like, darn.
That's funny. I make it. I rolled 9.
Right. Perfect. Carla, you just take 3 points of damage, and if you'll note that down, as you're the only one that slips and falls, and of course you had the great reason to. Y'all continue to work your way up to the top of this ridge line in this mountain, and you finally make it. It seems like it takes a day to get up there, which it probably only took an hour, but it seems like it takes forever. When you get up there, Knox is exhausted as he's helped you, and he looks towards you, Val, and he goes, well, I don't know much about those magic things, just stories I hear, but thanks for doing whatever you did to change into what you did and help us. I think it helped out quite a bit. Appreciate it.
I nod, because I'm still a bird. I'm going to stay in bird form for a little bit.
All right.
Just to keep, because everybody's resting, I'm going to do some circles to make sure nothing attacks the group while they're resting a little bit. And then I'll
and as you do a flyover and stuff, and circling around the area, you don't see anything up in the mountains. I mean, you start seeing a bunch of snow, and you know that probably another hour or so that y'all going to be into the snow and stuff up there where you need to go. But yeah, you don't see anything indicating any kind of danger.
Okay. Do I notice any smoke, like fires from the barbarian?
Nope, you do not. Do not see anything.
All right.
I have a question. If I do a bandage thing on myself, will I be able to do another one tomorrow? Like before I go to bed or whatever?
I mean, no, if you do, it's still this day. So, I mean, if you want to do bind wounds while you're resting, you can, but it will be day 3 before you can use it again.
Okay, no, I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay.
The cleric breathes heavy and he's almost winded, and he says, and walks up to Nox and says, "You seem to have been knocked out, Nox." That's all he says.
Oh, okay. All right, break's over. We got to get up to that. Any points continuing up. We've got to get up there before night falls. We don't want to be climbing this thing at night. And everybody else, as you climb the last portion of this, never dex test at 3d6 this time.
Okay.
Jaren is good.
All right.
Garth's good.
Bella's good.
How many dice?
3d6.
3d6 dex. Made it.
Carla failed.
Oh man, Carla, what did you see this time? You'll take two more points, 2 points of damage this time.
Okay. This time, as Carla is climbing up, you said it's getting snowy now.
Yeah. As you're reaching the top of this, it's snow and ice. The temperature's dropped a good 20 degrees, probably.
Okay. Yeah. So she's reaching. She's about to reach out, and this time she spots a little blue lizard, and she's like, "Oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll keep that one as a pet." And like she's about to reach out so she can grab it, and this little baby lizard all of a sudden opens its mouth, and the little spark like flies out and hits her hand, and it surprises her so much that she falls back down and hits the ground.
Perfect. Yep, and they help you up, Nox and the rest of them. And seems like the cleric has done so good in all this heavy armor he's wearing, but he helps you up and they get you to the top. And sure enough, it's like I say, it's 20 degrees cooler. There's snow and ice, and Nox says, "We only got about," he looks towards the sky, "we may have 30 minutes to get prepared for nightfall. It's going to get cold, dead cold."
Understood.
The cleric looks at Carla and says, "The faith is with you," and he casts Cure Light Wound, and he cures her for 5 points of damage.
Hey, perfect.
Ah, thanks, friend.
And he replies, "All too easy."
Nice. Well, that makes Carla full HP again.
Yep, that's good. Nox prepares. He's brought a bundle of wood.
Thank you for
to
taking
start a
care of her.
fire. We'll use the same watch system as you did the first night.
Okay. I'm assuming that the ground is not as plant laden, so I won't be able to cast that spell.
Yeah, you don't. It's everything is pretty much snow, a light snow covered and ice covered up here.
Okay.
Carla, you start out feeling much better on your watch as the cleric has healed you back to where you need to be. Nothing happens. The thing goes pretty smooth. The wind picks up and it drops another 10 degrees. Jared, same thing. Just cold, bitter cold. Jinx, pretty much the same thing with you, man. It's so quiet and peaceful you almost fall asleep again. Garth, you start out your watch and you're about halfway through it and getting a little tired yourself. You can't wait till you have to wake Val up. But you hear, and you look and see in the description that was given by Val, you see a very tall, heavy humanoid figure take off running away from your camp.
He's running away?
Yeah, you catch a glimpse of him running back into the mountains as he sees that you've seen him.
Okay, he wakes other party members up.
All right, you want to wake everybody up?
No, 5 more
Yeah,
minutes.
he wakes up Carla. He says, "Rise, wake up and join us."
All right. She'll grab her bear coat and she puts it on over her and then is like, what's up? What's the matter? What'd you see?
There's a man, a very tall man, who has been spying upon us. He has ran away in that direction.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
I want to have him followed to see if he has other companions that are laying in wait for an ambush.
Well, I mean, we're in the top of a snowy cliff. I don't know this area that well. And I've already fallen twice, so I'm probably not the best one to go running around the mountaintop chasing someone.
If you will not follow him, then perhaps he will. He points to the elf.
I mean, I doubt it, but you can try. Like, look, I mean, I know how bandits operate. I know how, how barbarians operate. If, they're gonna, they're waiting to catch us off guard. I mean, that's all it is. Or maybe they're just curious while we're in their lands. But the point is, until we see like 30 shadows surrounding us, there's not going to be much we can do.
Perhaps it is unwise to follow him, but I did hear a war drum of some sort.
Drum beat. Yeah, that's usually to pump people up before an attack. I'll get my armor on just in case.
So, did you wake everybody up?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Do you inform us what's going on?
Yeah.
We have been spotted by some intruder. He's a very tall man. He seems to fit the description that Carla has given us. Was it Carla who? Was it Carla or?
It was Val.
Okay,
Val.
yeah, Val has given us, and he basically says that he heard the war drums, and it seems like an attack is imminent.
Attack is imminent. Yes.
You hear drums? I listen. I hear drums.
It was.
All you hear is the wind howling through the mountain.
What was that booming noise that he heard? Was it like footstep? Was it a?
Who knows? It may have been the drum, or it may have been the howling wind.
Okay.
You're doing a great job at telling them, I think.
Yep.
It does sound like a prelude to war.
It wasn't a continuous beat. It was 2 beats.
Boom,
boom, boom, boom. And then he looks around. Boom,
Yeah, that
boom.
stimulates the beating of the heart, the blood boiling for battle.
Yep.
Val pulls her furs up tighter and lays back down.
Carla takes out a wooden tankard she has with her, and she'll start pounding on it in the same fashion. Boom, 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 boom.
Perfect.
Which way did he run to? Jeremy.
You see that he trudged back off deeper into the mountain itself again.
Still going toward the direction that we've been traveling?
Exactly.
Based on where we're traveling and where he keeps running off to, it seems that we're going to run into him anyway.
I suggested to Carla that she follow this man.
In the
And
dark.
to find out, I do not know how capable she is in treading in the dark. But in any regard, it seems like we will be walking into their ambush.
How long have we been asleep before?
I take out my continual light.
Let's see, Jaron, you would have got enough rest since that happened on Garth's deal. The one that's going to be the sleepiest is going to be Jinx because she had not been asleep long when this happened, and Val had had a restful night because she would have been up next. But everybody's pretty restful except Jinx.
So what Jaron will do then, since he's had the rest that he needs, is he would kind of move toward where the edge of the camp is and possibly find a decent pine or something like that and climb it, get up off the ground, and basically get his bow ready and sit in the tree, maybe get about 15, 20 feet up, and keep watch in the direction that the man ran off into.
Yep.
And see if he comes back to keep watching, see if I can actually spot him this time. But I will move outside of the firelight so that, is there a decent moon right now, or?
The sky is pretty clear. The moon, it's not closer to a full moon, but there's enough that you can get enough light, light to see.
So that's what I would want to do.
Yep, okay. You can do that. Garth, are you going to stay up? Are you going to wake up Val on her turn to? Or are you going to let her go back to sleep like she said?
Yeah, I'm going to wake her up.
Val, you're waking up for the last watch. It goes pretty smooth, as you know that Jaron is out there somewhere in a little scrub tree that he's found to climb up into. Nothing happens as daylight comes, and Knox has got breakfast prepared again.
I'm going to, before everybody gets up, I'm going to go around, let's see, Garth, and I'm going to write, because I speak a lot of languages and stuff, I'm going to write in some like really outlandish script. It looks barbarian-ish, some words around him in the snow. Yeah.
Words?
Words, so that you can see that there's some kind of symbols and words that look very barbaric.
Cool.
When you wake up around your body.
Oh, boy.
Huh.
He's going to wake up and says, I see something has visited me while I was sleeping. And then he starts to breathe heavily.
I didn't see anything. There was nobody here but me.
And then he looks at you and looks at the others and says, He rubs his chin and he tries to figure it out, but obviously he really can't.
Jaron, while you're in the tree, the scrub tree and all that, the rest of that nightfall, you don't see anything. You don't observe anything, any movement, any fires or torches or anything that indicates anything. It goes very smooth also.
Okay, cool.
The next morning, Knox tells you that probably within an hour or two, depending on how the weather does, that y'all should be in the general area of where the legend tells that the great battle took place between the dragon and Sir Humfordus, that it may be an hour or two at the most before we get you to that location.
Yeah.
You begin your trek up. Carla, you're doing better today as y'all climb. The climbing is not as bad as it was on day 2. You make your way up and start seeing more of a rocky area where there's still some snow and ice, but it's not as bad as it was from yesterday. But it's still bitter cold. And you start seeing an area that appears maybe there could be some caves or caverns in there. And you hear Knox go, "Oh, no. No, it can't be, no." And he starts pointing about 80, 100 feet out in front of y'all. And you see what appears to be stuck in the snow and the ground is this large wooden pole. And you see some type of, appears to be barbaric homemade effigy that is mounted on this pole. And the effigy looks pretty much like the picture next to me there of a red dragon head and it's stuck into the ground there, 80 or 100 feet away from y'all.
You said it looks barbaric in nature. Like, did Carla determine anything from it?
If you go up there to it, you may can, but yeah, it definitely looks like it's a effigy that is barbarically made and very crudely made.
Yeah, I mean, Carla, without any problem, is going to just walk up there.
Yep, you walk up there, and sure enough, it appears you would think, Carla, that it's definitely made by probably some barbaric tribe.
I mean, like, can I determine who I think it might have been made by or the purpose it was made for? Like, was it just made to scare people?
Roll me a d6.
It's territorial marker.
I mean, like, it could be, but I mean, there could be other reasons as well. I rolled a 5.
Yeah, you're puzzled by this. You've never seen any of the barbarians where you're from make anything like this. I mean, the only thing you know is that what would scare you or anybody looking at it is why is it a picture or why is it an effigy of what appears to be a red dragon head. But yeah, you don't know anything else about it.
So I'm gonna look at Jinx and say, you seem to be reacting as if you had seen something like this before. Care to inform us?
Tactically, I'd mark territory.
As a territory marking, or possibly a
Thinks it's that.
warning.
So
Is either as marking territory or as a warning sign. Exactly.
While they're discussing this, Carla's just going to take this thing out of the ground and break the stick over her knee and then throw it down the mountain.
Well,
Yeah, you'd also notice, Carla, as you pull it up from the ground, it's not completely frozen in there. You'd probably what's your intelligence?
A 7.
Oh, you'd still even know that from just living in the mountains and area yourself. You'd know, but it hasn't been there that long, maybe 2 or 3 hours stuck in the ground because it's not frozen in.
Oh, cool. Well, whoever did this did it recently. I think it's an intimidation factor. But guess what? She pulls out her little wooden tankard. Boom, 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 boom.
Chair would be like, easy killer.
Again, the cleric says, impressive. Most impressive.
Well, I know that when I was having my tower built, the architects put stakes in the ground. Perhaps this is all that is. Maybe they're doing some architectural development.
It seems within a couple of hours or so, we may run into our foes. Allow me to cast this enchantment upon the party. And he casts protection against chaos, 10-foot radius. So it includes everybody in the party. It lasts for about 2 hours.
Oh.
Yep, and that gives you +1, I believe.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I feel very tingly.
A +1 what? Like +1 to AC?
Nope, not to AC. It'd be
+1 to saving throws.
Protection against chaos actually incurs -1 penalty coming from the enemies if they're chaotic.
Yeah, they have a 1-2 hit. And you get a +1 on all saving throws. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
How long does it last? Did you say, Young? I don't remember.
2 hours.
2 hours, okay.
That may have been premature, priest. I'm going to. So did you throw the effigy off the side so it's not there anymore?
Oh yeah, Carla just threw it all.
So it's gone, right? I can't get it.
The priest responds with his cheesy line, I find your lack of faith disturbing, once again.
He would.
Barbarian, did you have a chance to see what materials the head was made out of? Perhaps it was from a dragon.
Was it?
Valuable.
Was it?
Roll me a d6.
2.
You have no idea what it was made out of. You were in such a haste that you At first you think maybe there was some hide that it was made out of, but then you're not sure.
Nah, it's just a lizard.
See. Okay. Shall we enter the cave?
Do you recall the name Suduga that we heard back in the Count's castle?
Does sound familiar.
That's the rumor I heard when we were in Red Veil.
Perhaps these are his or her minions.
Absolutely.
How big is this cave that we're looking at?
Yeah, you do see a cave entrance, probably another 100 feet past where Carla and y'all have found this effigy. And it's, if you weren't up here, you would not notice it. If you would have been flying overhead, you would probably miss it. It's not very big at all from what you can see, but Knox is getting even more nervous as he sees it too.
Is this our destination, my good man Knox?
Well, I know from what I've been told and from history, and he's shaking at this point. This is the area where the battle was supposed to take place. But I guess y'all will have to go down there and see.
Is this where your guidance ends?
They didn't pay me. They didn't pay me to go down in no deep dark cavern. They just told me to bring you up here to where it was or close to it.
Are you at least paid to stay here to escort us home?
Yeah, I'm not going. I'll be out here. I'll get the camp prepared.
Thank you, sir.
If we're not back in an hour, keep waiting.
Just wait longer.
I say, fear not, boy. I will cast a charm to protect you. And I cast charm.
Oh, Knox?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He rolled 18. He passes.
Okay. All right. You will be protected. Fear not.
Well, he scratches his head. Okay,
He won't know the distance.
I'll be fine out here. Okay.
Okay.
You make your way up to this entrance, and it appears, like I say, it's enough to walk without having to stoop or anything once you get up there and see it. But I mean, it's something you would probably naturally miss unless you were right up on top of it as you are now. You don't see any type of foot traffic or anything. It doesn't appear there's been anything around this in probably quite some time.
Okay.
And once looking in there, it seems that it's very, very dark.
I'm gonna take my staff, the top of my staff, and I'm gonna unscrew it or uncork the piece of wood that's covering the top, and there's a gem on top with a continual light spell cast upon it, so it lights up the area.
All right, perfect.
I open the continual light box, do this, effectively the same thing, less glamorous.
All right.
And not approvingly.
The priest uses his hooded lantern.
Even better.
Carla takes out her big ass axe.
Perfect.
You get enough light sources going as you enter this very narrow deal, and you enter and walk 10 feet, and it starts to spread open more. It's probably about 15 foot wide now as you go in and start down into this cavern, and you walk a good 20 feet, and it goes back down to almost like a 5-foot area where you have to go back to single file, and you walk in another 10 feet or so, and it seems like it just opens up into another big area. It's probably it's beyond your lantern and torch line. I mean, you would think it's probably a good 60, 80 feet across or more. I mean, it turns into a very deep cavern itself. But as you're looking around, everybody roll me a d6.
5.
4.
5.
6.
Carla?
Oh, sorry, it's muted. 6.
bad it wasn't damage rules there.
I know. Carla, since you and Val rode the 6, y'all both were walking along when trying to look to see the depth of this cavern, and stuff. You both stumble across this at the same time and start to fall, maybe try to catch each other. And you look down to see what you stumbled on, and you see a human skeleton sitting there against the wall, holding something in his arms crossed like that. And at that point, we're going to take us a 5-minute bio break.
All right.
Perfect timing. I'm back.
Yep, I just sat down myself too.
I've just been putzing around with my dice and keyboard.
Alrighty.
Give me 1 second. I'm getting ice cream.
Oh man, I don't have any right now.
I have some, but I shouldn't eat it.
You hear that, Maria? Daniel's getting ice cream, Maria.
I'm gonna have to go to the store.
You hear that, Maria? If we want really good ice cream, we just go to the store. It's the benefits of being an American. America!
I just have to reach into the freezer
Got it.
and put on that weight.
Well, with all this hiking, I figured the ice cream will burn right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not cold enough, so you had to get ice cream.
Yeah.
So the barbarian falls down the mountain twice. Wow.
And I was the only one. Like, no one else failed. It was just me. That was what was even funnier about it.
At least you
I
got
know.
a good reason.
Huh.
You have a soft side for animals.
I'm back.
Alrighty. I think we're just waiting on Rush. You ready to roll, Rush?
I've played Jinx for about 20 years in various gaming systems. So she's seen lots of crazy shit. She's been catapulted. She's done all sorts of stuff. So
I hate to be the GM that's going to bring her to her end of her life tonight. I'm sorry, but
oh, she's
Yeah.
died. She's died and been brought back to life a couple times.
Well, thankfully you're with a cleric that has raised dead. But
Yep.
yeah.
I think I've been the same way with Carla. Like, I've used her in a few different adventures and stuff. But I think this might be the retirement game for her, because now she has. I've already made up that she took on her uncle and she has her village back. So she just needs to take care of this last threat, and this will be her retirement.
Was Carla the one who ended up with a mace hand, or was that a different one?
No, that was another person. Was it?
I can't
no,
remember.
it was a different one. Carla died by those beetles or something, I think.
Yeah, Jessica Blackthorn was the one that ended up with the mace hand.
That's right. Okay. That's right.
And then
Yeah, Carla was swallowed up whole by Remores or something like that.
yeah, and Remores followed Carla too.
Yeah, she was the best lover that everybody had.
Yep. And tonight, tonight a dragon's going to breathe on her.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I've dropped her level. I've raised her level. I've played her at different levels. I played her from level 1 to level 20 the first time. So
Nice. I found we get a chance to do that because Micah ran a game that was something of the Lich Queen, which was it's a published module for 2nd edition, but it's level 17.
Yeah.
So we had to make characters to go travel to that plane. So my wife and I made a pair of dwarven sisters, which was really kind of fun. And then another chance to play Planescape came up with Morgan. Grover, but he wants to use the Lamentations of the Flame Princess rules. So I looked at Michelle and I was like, well, we could do the Dwarven Sisters again because when you play a game, when you're doing one-shots and you play a game at level 17, you pretty much figure you're not probably ever going to play anything higher with that character. Right. I was like, so, well, their retirement adventure was a plane traveling thing. So let's do the beginning of their career as a planes traveler, and I said it would just kind of tie it all together. So that's my wife and I are both resurrecting those characters as level 3 and going from there.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. That's like a prequel then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I've started characters from the beginning as well.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I like playing OSR games, because it doesn't take a lot of there's not a lot of work involved to do just that, you know.
Nope, not at all.
Second edition is a fantastic edition, but it does take 30 minutes to. I'm making a level 17 character. Oh my god, it took like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get it all done.
Yeah, I'm glad Mbika made mine.
Yeah.
Each gaming system has its good points and bad points.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No matter what gaming system you play.
But my thing about OSR is just the quickness in the preparation, especially now that I'm an adult. You know, it's nice to be able to say, oh, we need a character for this game. Let me sit down here for the next 15, 20 minutes and knock that out.
Yep.
All right, we'll get started back as Val, you and Carla at the same time stumble over this human skeleton that is sitting there, and brace yourselves and catch yourselves back up, and you turn and look, and it's sitting there holding an old, looks half rotten tome, and it's holding there against its chest, and its arms are crossed.
Huh. I see this beast is holding a tome. Let's make sure it's not undead. And I knock its head off with my staff.
Yeah, and you knock the head as it rolls off 5 foot away from the rest of the body. Nothing happens.
Okay.
Just like, aha, you've killed it again.
Carla will look and see what it's holding in its hands.
It's called a book, barbarian.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said it was the book. I missed that part. All right, Carla picks up the book and she opens it up, but she's holding it upside down, and she just kind of nods, and every once in a while like just flipping through pages, and goes, yes, very interesting read. But you have a better voice than I do, Wizard. Why don't you tell everyone what it says?
I extend my hand to take the book.
And it's a very, very weathered old book. Of course, it's been here for who knows how long. Some of the pages have fallen out as Carla is digging through it and stuff. But once you get it and open it and look at it, I mean, you would definitely recognize it as probably some type of book that belonged to a studier of the arts of magic. There's a lot of notes written there that are in some type of language that none of you so far recognize.
Does it seem to be like an arcane language? Or
some of the notes and stuff do, but they're all like, a bunch of them are just nothing really fits together. I mean, some of the pages are missing, and some things are just like jumbled up notes and stuff.
Is the corpse wearing anything?
The clothes on it pretty much have completely rotted away from it. There's just little scraps and stuff itself, not much. No armor at all.
Can you make any sense of the tome?
Roll me a d6, Val.
Okay. 6. Wow, I'm rolling a lot of 6s.
Huh. The only thing that you can make sense of after you look at it for, let's say, 10 minutes or so, you catch one word in there that definitely catches your eye, and it appears like a signature or something on a page. Envious. Which you would know Envious was the wizard who was last seen 2 generations ago with supposedly brought the sword to the mountain.
The book is in foreign code, which will take months to decipher, but it's clearly from the wizard Envious. And this is likely his body, which we should perform final rites on. Shouldn't lay it
Carla,
in place.
sorry. When you say that, Carla nods and says, yes, that is what I determined from the book as well.
Okay, so I'm going to shove the book in my bag and say, how big is the cavern, right? It's pretty big.
Oh, yeah, this area you're in is probably, I mean, you see, 60, 80 foot, and it's still wide. I mean, you see different passages leading on different ways, but yeah, it's huge, this area is.
Right. I mean, I'm not particularly religious, I say, but I take the head back that I knocked off, and I put the head back on top, and I'm going to sprinkle holy water around the corpse and put 2 coins, copper coins, in its eye sockets.
I see that you are well familiar with the burial rites. He steps up and he says, "May the faith be with this one, always." And he bows and offers a short prayer to the god, and that's basically it.
Carla takes out a bottle of mead, and she'll pour a little on the ground.
All right. You find nothing else on the skeleton or around it at all besides the half of the book that's left. But as you start kind of getting your eyesight and looking around to see how this cavern plays out, you notice the largest part of it seems to continue pretty much. You come in from the north. It appears that it pretty much goes down south, the biggest part. But you also notice what appears to be a area that goes off back towards the northeast. And then you see a very small area that's very scrunched up where it's going to be single file. If you go that way, it's to the west.
Okay.
So you said to the west and to the which direction?
Yeah, to the west is a small, just 5 foot wide that you would have to go single file. The northeast is pretty wide itself. It's probably about 30, 40 foot wide, it appears, the northeast passage. Or if it continues south, it's a good 40 foot across. I mean, it's a big area south.
So Jaren would look around and see if he's noticed what looks to be any signs of anyone recently inside the cave moving through.
Roll me a d6.
And I got 2.
Oh yeah, you make a good observation of the area. You see no kind of foot traffic at all from any animals, any humanoid type footprints or anything at all that appears to be here recently.
Okay. All right. So Jaren would just kind of look back at the rest and say, "I can't make out any footprints."
Did you check the ceiling?
Well, no.
I look up.
You see spider webs.
When we began our quest, were we given the description of the appearance of the sword?
You were given that, and I will tell you that. That's a good question. You get inspiration.
Sweet.
The sword is a silver-hilted longsword with a rune-etched blade and a bejeweled pommel. The 7 swords look familiar to one another, although a keen eye will discern the runes will vary from blade to blade. Each of them have a different gem in the pommel of it, and you would know this. The Dragon Bane gem is red, a bright red gem.
The cleric says, "I will try to locate the whereabouts of this blade if it's close by, if it's nearby." And he casts locate object, It's a 3rd level spell.
Yep, let me get to it real quick.
And he's looking for a silver-hilted blade with a red gem on its pommel.
You get no sense right now. This would last for 10 minutes, but where you're staying at, you get no sense of anything that touches you, that you feel it.
I see that the sword is beyond my sight.
Well, it seems to me that if we head to the south, the cavern is wide enough for a dragon. I fear that we may have entered through the back door so much as of the cave. And I'm guessing that if we continue forward, we'll enter a larger chamber. So if we are to believe that the sword is with the corpse of the dragon, I think we should go south.
A wise decision.
Sounds good to me.
I step aside to let the fighters go.
Yeah, and this is, like I say, a good 40 feet across. I mean, it's a huge going south. As you begin south, it stays in that 40 to 50-foot range. As you move along, probably another good 60 feet down. And it appears there's a smaller offshoot of the cavern that goes into the east wall, about 10 feet. It's about 10 feet wide, where you can continue south.
I think south. But I'm not in front. Whoever's in front really should decide. But I think we should go on south.
Yeah, Jaren would mention that of all the things that she suggested so far, that one actually makes the most sense. And that's not a... He looks at the wizard, the young wizard girl, and say, that's not meant as an insult, by the way.
All right, you continue south, and it's like I say, about, it varies from 35 to 50 foot wide. I mean, it's a very wide area. As you continue south, another 60 feet, and it narrows enough, probably enough still, it's 30 feet wide, and then you go 10 feet, and it blossoms back out to the 40 or 50 foot deal. But what catches your eye as soon as you walk into this area where it blossoms back out is it's a large area, but you notice in the center of this room appears to be an opening in the cavern itself, a natural opening that goes down. It's probably 30 feet wide and about 30 by 30. It appears to be just an open chasm that goes straight down. It's dark. You can continue south, or it appears it makes kind of a bend back around where you can go east.
Call it a hunch, but I have a feeling that the dragon may lie down this hole.
Yeah, I want to walk to the edge of the hole. And do I feel any breezes coming up from it? Does it feel like it might lead to the outside?
You do get a natural air that's coming through it, not very powerful or strong, but you do get a natural, clean, crisp smell coming from it. It appears to probably go pretty deep or deeper into the mountain, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out one of my copper pieces that has continuous light on it, and I'm going to I'll say heads or tails, and I'll flip one and see how far down it goes.
You see it go 20, 40, 60, 80 feet down as the light starts, getting dimmer and dimmer. And you never hear it hit anything or fall on anything. It completely goes out of sight finally where you can't see it.
Heads.
We had enough rope to traverse that path. So let us choose another.
Did I get it right though?
Hopefully we'll find out soon.
Oh.
The cleric consults his faith powers and says, "You are indeed correct."
Sweet. Then I get that coin when we go there.
So I'm sorry, what were the other exits from this room? We had the hole?
Yeah, you have this huge hole that you just dropped the coin in. It disappeared. and you can continue south. It appears you can continue south the way you're going, and there's also a branch that shoots off back to the east.
Okay.
Or you can, of course, go back north the way you come.
Okay, and this is now a second branch, right? Because there was an easterly branch earlier.
Yeah, there was a small east branch but this second east branch is much wider.
Okay. All right. And the south is still the widest.
Yes, it's still the widest, appears to be.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I think we should still stay for the widest path until we get. Oh, at that moment, I think to myself, and now I stand here and I lick my finger and is there air coming through with the way we are? Like, is there an air current traveling from north to south?
A very faint one, even fainter than what's coming up from this chasm deal.
Okay.
Has it been longer than 10 minutes?
It has not. And I was just, that's a good point, because I was just fixing to tell you, your deal's still going, and you still get no sense of anything in this general area where you're at. You would know it's got a 90-foot range radius, but you get nothing, a feel of nothing.
Should we move quicker?
Yep.
I certainly wouldn't waste a lot of time, no.
All right, let's go south.
You continue south 30 feet, and as you do, like I say, it's pretty wide, and you continue that 30 feet, and the cavern just pretty much stops at that point. All you see is the wall 30 feet down south, and you walk around the whole edge of the huge area, but there appears to be no other way out of here. It just pretty much
Okay, so it's dead end. Okay, so let's go back and go east.
I'm going to look for secret doors.
All right.
All right.
Roll for me.
Oh. I can actually help with that. I have keen detection,
Of course.
which means I can see them. What is it?
Yeah, you should have a 4 or 6
Yeah,
if you're looking for it.
All right.
Yeah. And I got a 5.
I'll help.
Apparently, I can't help with it very well.
Does it 2 count?
You rolled a 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty confident there's nothing leading, any kind of passageway leading out of here at all. It appears it just naturally ends here.
Okay.
All right. This might be where the dragon look chilled out or something. Are there signs of any like digging in the area or bones or?
No, nothing at all in that big part where the chasm went down. No, nothing at all. It's nothing that you can detect.
All right, let's go back east, I guess.
Yeah, you want to go to the first east passage, the widest one where that room was. That's what you're talking about.
Just where the deep hole.
Yeah, that east passage.
Yeah, that east passage.
You go a good 20 feet into that east passage, and it makes kind of a Y where you can go right or left.
Interesting. So right would be southeast, right?
Yep, south, and then we'll say back north, just to make
it easy. Okay. I don't know, guys. What do you think? North, south. And these are all just like normal size passages, right? They're not giant or stuff.
Yeah, it's not huge. These are probably 10, 15 foot across, you would think.
So you want to go north and see if it meets up with the other easterly passage?
Sure.
All right. Let's go north.
Yeah, you follow it north, 20 feet in, and it, widens back out to probably not as big as the other ones have been, but it widens into probably a 30 by 30 area. And as you search around, it appears that it ends too, that it's just a natural end to this room.
Okay. Do your elf eyes see anything in here, Hunter?
Should I roll or just?
Yep, you can. 4 or 6.
Nope, I see nothing.
Okay. All right. Back to the south we go.
Has it been over 10 minutes?
It's getting close to it as you start back out and maybe go and start to that south Y as you stop for just a minute, Garth, and use that, you still get a sense of nothing at all in this area.
Okay. Let's go
But
south.
as you go south, it's kind of almost the cookie cutter of where you just come from. It opens up into pretty much a 30 by 30 area. It seems to be, if it was, you almost think for a minute it was probably handmade because it appears to be the same dimensions and size of that one north, but it also ends or appears to end.
Okay. I stare at Jared. I poke him in the foot with my stick. Jared, do your elf eyes see anything?
You're muted, Rush.
Sorry. Yes, this time I rolled a 1.
Yeah, it's about this time that he takes the staff and pokes you into the foot. You reach out and touch the cavern wall, and you feel an indentation go in, and you kind of feel a door or something, a passageway open up.
Well, this is something.
Indeed it is. Well done.
Thank you.
So I would kind of push the doorway to the passage open and look down and see what I can see.
So
It's very narrow. It's probably 5 foot wide. I mean, you have to, if you go in here, it would be single file. It's dark, of course, but it appears to be just a part of it's natural, but you would appear that maybe somebody made this to lead to somewhere else also, but it's very narrow, 5 foot wide to go down.
Do our light sources help matters?
Yeah, if you put enough line in there, you can see it just continues on. It appears to be stays that 5 foot width as it continues on.
the cleric gestures to Jaren and says, "The faith is with you," and then gestures that he takes the front.
I'm sorry. Is the passage going in which direction, Tony?
The passage would continue pretty much southeast.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I hold up the rear, and I say, "Let's go."
Yep, who's going first?
I'll go if Carla doesn't want to go.
That'll be fine. We'll put you and Carla there first and second. You continue what seems to be a long ways, and Gar, if you would know that your time is about up as you stop, and take just a moment to use that spell before it dissipates. And as you do, you get just a faint glimmer of it shows up, and you're about to try to figure out more about it, and it goes away.
Which general direction does he sense it?
You sense the way you're going, even more the way that you're going down.
He relays that information to the rest of the party.
Ah, the gods are with us. Gird yourself, men. And then I step back.
Yep, and y'all continue down, and there's there's cobwebs here and things you go through. It appears to be no traffic. Of course, it would have to be humanoid size to go through here, but you don't see any foot traffic at all recently. But you continue for a long time, and as you do, you start maybe noticing that you don't have a dwarf in the party, of course, but you start even noticing it. It seems like it's appearing that you're going further deep into the mountain. It's slanting down. And you finally come up to an opening. And when you do, you walk out, and there's the same 5 foot width passage that you can go east or west.
The westerly winds are usually gentle. I say we go west.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll continue along. Carla, you and Jinx are leading the way. and you continue a good, probably 60 feet roughly, and it comes out into a very large, even larger than any of the cavernous areas you've been in. I mean, this place, none of your torchlight is not even reflecting all of it. I mean, it's huge what you've walked into this area. But you also notice another chasm in the southwest of this room. It's even maybe twice as big as the last one was in that other room. It's very damp in here, very musty, very wet feeling.
Careful.
Yeah, I'll approach the hole. Do I feel air coming up? Is it stronger than the?
Yeah, as you approach it, Val, and move on in where your line and stuff's illuminating. Yeah, you feel the same pretty much like you did in that other one, but like I say, this one's almost twice as big, or appears to be. And you see that this large cavern is just still continues and goes open. But there's something else that you see, Val.
Is there a?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna ask, is there like a large pink snake on the ground?
A large pink snake.
Yeah, because if there was, then we're probably walking into a mouth.
Oh.
Huh. Nope, there's nothing like that there.
Oh,
Val,
okay.
you see, I'm going to say just for general purposes, you're probably staying on the northeast of this chasm, if that's okay.
Sounds
and
fair.
you look towards the southeast, and you see a faint flicker of something. I mean, it catches your eye.
Okay. I stop and look in that direction. Does it seem like it's my light flickering off of something reflective?
You think that at first. I mean, that's probably what you think, or maybe it's coming off someone else's torches or lanterns or whatever. But then the way it shines and stuff, you see it's something else that appears to be down that way.
Huh. I see something here, and I stretch my my staff out and point in that direction for the others to check it out.
Okay.
I'll cover you.
I appreciate it, friend.
Thank you.
Baron would pull his bow and say, "Yes, she'll cover you," as he stands right beside her.
You see the cleric breathing heavy again. And he says, "He will cover you."
I pull my bow, and I'm scanning the area.
I have my axe out, and I'm doing the same.
Is anybody going to continue on that way and approach this light?
Wait, we're walking towards a light at the end of the tunnel. Turn back at the threat.
Carla.
Wait just a minute. Keyword: there is no tunnel.
Huge, massive.
Garth tells Carla, if you go there, perhaps you will confirm that it is heads.
Oh, Carla gets excited about that. She's definitely gonna start heading that way.
Yeah, and Carla, as you maneuver on to the southeast corner, you'll go a good 30 or 40 feet as the rest of them are maybe staying behind and covering behind you. And as you get closer, you see what is illuminated. It is floating in the air about 5 foot from the top, from the bottom of the floor, about 5 foot up. You see this sword that is just there floating in the air. It looks just like the description you were given by the Count's men of what Dragon Bane looks like.
I want to look around the floor. Is there a copper coin anywhere that's lit up?
Nope, you don't see anything on the floor. Nothing at all.
Darn. So, all right, she'll just walk up and grab the sword.
All right. How far behind is the rest of you all?
Well, I'm at the edge of this. I'm at the edge of the cavern where I was. I haven't moved.
That's what I say. None of y'all follow close behind her, really.
I don't.
I pull sword and shield out. I approach Carla.
All right, I'm going to say you're 10 feet behind her, then we'll say.
Good
Carla,
find.
Carlo, as you reach and grab the sword, you reach out and grab and start to pull it back towards you. It just disappears. And at that time, all of you hear something coming from the northeast corner. And you
Is that
hear
where we
this.
came from?
Nope, y'all came from the northwest corner.
Thank
You hear this voice go, "So, you have come. Take what belongs to me."
No, I came to kill a big lizard. Have you seen one?
As soon as you say that, Carlo, make me a saving throw.
Nice.
You always got to talk shit, Carla.
That's what always gets me killed, baby. Oh,
But it's epic.
I rolled a 2. I had to make a 5, and I rolled a 2.
Nice.
I get a +2 versus death. That doesn't matter because that would only give me a 4, and I need a 5.
Carla, as you hear the voice and you turn that direction where the voice is coming from, this is what you see momentarily.
Uh-oh. Yo!
You see this, and you see the wings that are just dissipated in, and the body itself is more of a skeletal structure than it is of anything. And you see that, all of you. You see the mouth open. You see the breath come out. Carla, you are not able to get out of the way in time. So you can describe the death of Carla. She takes 88 damage.
Carla, what kind like was it fire or was it poison?
Yeah,
or?
it was just this flame and this fire. It's mostly red and some of it black.
Yeah, so yeah, like it hits her, and she shouts out to the cleric just before she dies, "Turn undead," and then she dies.
The rest of you standing there see this huge monstrosity that has just been invisible, that has turned visible, and it's standing there. Like I say, the description of it is pretty much like that picture. It seems to be something that just is ungodly in itself. You see the breath come out and just decimate Carla's bones as they fall to the floor. And we will roll initiative, and I will come and get your count here very shortly. And I'll start, let's see, Garth, what did you roll? D12.
5.
Garth on 5. What about Val?
6.
Jared?
I also rolled a 5.
All righty. And Jinx?
2.
Oh, nice.
Jinx, lead us out. Because this has just happened, and you're roughly, I'm going to say where you moved from, you're a good 50 foot away from this thing.
Hey Tony, since I'm dead,
Yes.
do you want me to play the dragon for you?
No, that's probably okay. I'll get too much enjoyment out of this.
Okay.
But Jinx, you're up first. So what would you like to do as you
Is
see
there-
Carla burn to death?
Could
Quick.
the cleric tell her something or give her something before she does anything?
Nope, not yet.
Your turn.
Is there any way that I can glance around the room, like just like a quick instant look, to see if the sword is anywhere in sight, and if not, I try to run underneath it to stab up underneath it.
Yeah, you take a quick glance as you're moving along. You don't see any other swords anywhere at all.
Okay.
of course, you saw Carla grab for that one, and it just disappeared.
Okay.
But no, you don't see anything.
Okay.
So you want to move in on this thing and try to stab it?
I want to try to stab it from underneath it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna go give you a chance. You got there in time, even though you're quite a ways away from it. You can run to it and do it. So, make an attack roll.
$11 plus 7 is 18.
An 18 to hit will miss it.
Hold it. Let me just check to make sure I got all the pluses in there. Oh wait,
All right.
plus D4. Plus D4. 2 is 18, 19, 20.
20 will miss it.
Okay, sorry.
But you know, as you drive in and it maneuvers over, you know that you barely missed it. And just to let y'all know, y'all will need a 21 to hit this thing.
Yeah. There's a -1, so I only rolled a 19. With 7
Garth.
plus D4 -1.
We are up to Garth and Jaren on 5.
You're saying we need to roll a 21, or we need to hit armor class 21?
Armor class 21.
Okay.
The Garth quaffs his potion of fire resistance immediately.
Nice.
All right. Perfect.
And Jaren will. You don't get they don't white box. You don't get the 2 attack thing at any level, right?
Nope.
Okay, so he's just going to let loose an arrow. And
But you do, if you're using a bow, you get, you do, a bow gets 2 shots each round.
Oh, okay. All right. So AC. Right. So the first shot hits AC 19, and the second shot is a 14, and I need an 11 to hit 19. So that should have done it. 3, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22, yeah. 22
Yeah.
will hit, man, with the bow shot.
And that's a D6. Correct?
You got a short bow?
No, I have a long bow.
A long bow would be D6 plus 1 of our house rule.
Okay, so 4 points of damage.
Alrighty. Your arrow strikes into part of this creature.
Got him right where I wanted.
Val, we're up to you as you see all this going on.
I reach over and touch the cleric, and I already rolled a 2 out of my 95% chance to cast it, and I polymorph the cleric into an ancient blue dragon, and I jump down the hole. I'm hoping that I get another turn before I hit the bottom of the hole, but I just jump.
So you're jumping into the chasm?
Absolutely, yeah. But first, I turn him into an ancient blue dragon.
Okay, I just gotta pause here and gotta say that is the coolest shit that has ever happened.
You don't get any more hit points, but you get every other ability of the dragon. So your breath weapon will do your hit points and damage, right? That's how it works in this.
Awesome.
Let me read it. I'm going to polymorph, right?
Yep. Check it out.
Let's see. This allows the caster to turn another being into a different type of creature, such as a dragon. The polymorph creature gains all the abilities of the new form, but retains its own mind and HP.
Right. So even if I turn it into an ancient dragon, it's still only going to get his HP and breath weapon, I assume.
Yeah, he'll have to use his
But otherwise, that gains all the dragon abilities. So whatever. I don't know what else. If it has better armor class, I guess. It doesn't matter. You get the same armor class as the dragon, armor class 2. And you can shoot lightning, which I recommend you do because that's much more damage than the bite. But I also jump down the hole. So assuming
you're committing suicide, in other words.
No, I mean I'm assuming that in 10 seconds, which is a round, I won't hit the bottom. Right? Because there was no bottom before. We watched a coin drop. So I'm going to cast a spell when I'm falling.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's my plan. Remember,
I got you. Yep. Yeah. You're falling at this point as you turn the cleric into a blue dragon.
Yep.
This, whatever it is, looks and sees the blue dragon momentarily, and and you see it start opening its mouth, but you don't see any flame or anything building up at this point. So it turns and it looks towards Jinx, who has stabbed it.
I missed.
It is
I
going. Yeah, missed.
You
Anyway,
stabbed
but
Dana.
you're right there on top of it. It's going to reach out and try to bite you, Jinx.
From underneath?
Yep.
Okay.
And it is going to hit you. You'll take 6 points of damage from this bite.
Okay. AC 18. Thank you. Okay, 6
Yep,
points.
it is 22.
Okay, that's fine. 6 points.
So 6 points, and we're up to the next round. Let's see, Garth, what did you get?
Five.
Alrighty. This ought to be interesting. Val.
I got a 4.
All right, Jared.
Oh, sorry. I got a 9.
And Jinx.
9.
All right. Wow. Val, lead us out.
Okay, I'm going to cast a fly. So I can.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna cast it, and then I'm gonna just fly back up to the edge of the pit. I'm not gonna reveal myself until next round, so because I know that I'll get blasted if I come up.
Perfect. Garth, you being the blue dragon and whatever kind of dragon this is, both got a 5, so you can go first.
He says, "Do not underestimate the power of the faith. The power of the faith compels you to cower."
And he turns undead.
As you do that and cast it in the form of the blue dragon and cast it towards this dragon, you see it open its mouth and it goes,
"You fool. That has no effect on what I am."
Why did you use the lightning breath? Oh, God damn it. Dog goes home.
As you do that, you see this thing look towards you, blue dragon. As it does, I need you to make me a save.
14. So I
You
believe
pass.
that's a save. Yep.
You were able to fight off whatever effect that it was staring with these blood red eyes, just deep blood red, looking straight into your eyes, but you're able to fight it off. Jaren, both you and Jinx are on 9.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to fire once. That will be another hit.
All right.
And the second shot, I rolled a 2. So that'll be miss. So that'll be 5 points more.
All right. Got it. Your arrow slings into it. Good. What would you like to do, Jinx?
I still only get one shot around with the longsword. Is that right?
With the longsword, yep, you only get one attack on melee.
Okay. Thank you. $25, 28, 27, 20. I hit it. I rolled a 27.
27 to hit? Yeah, that hits it.
Okay.
Nice.
How much damage?
So, 8 points of damage.
All right.
Some of it is 4 of it is freezing damage.
Yep, like your sword, that's fine. Yeah, you see it take effect into it as we go up to the next round. Man, you're all lucky ones. Garth, what did you roll?
I roll 4.
Garth has 4. How about Val? 5?
Yep.
And Jaren?
I rolled a 1 this time.
All right. What about Jinx?
5.
Lead us out, Jaren.
Well, he's just going to continue trying to whittle away at this thing. Let's see here. You said a 21 AC 21.
Yep, no, AC 21 is what you need to hit.
So I need the 13. Okay, first one is a hit with a 19. Second
All right.
one. Okay, this time I got 2 hits.
All righty.
So that will be with the +1 on each. That's a 3 for one die and a 5 on the other, so 8 total.
8 total damage, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your both arrows strike true into this thing then. Garth, you're up next.
He flaps his wings and goes,
Lightning!
he breathes lightning on it.
Let me go pull that up and see.
Hopefully it doesn't make him stronger.
He's a decoy, goddammit.
How many HP do you have right now?
I have 50 full hit points.
50, okay. Jinx, make me a saving throw.
And my saving throw is 5.
Being the kind and nice person I am, Jinx,
so I made it.
Jinx, you were able to jump out of the way as this blast of electric lightning comes shooting across there. As it does, you're going to take 5 points of damage. Even though you're out of the way, you're going to get enough that it's going to strike and take 5 points of damage away from you, Jinx. The dragon itself makes its save, but you said your HP were 50, right?
Yeah,
right.
That's correct.
So he'll take half. You see this lightning start, some of the wings and stuff start falling apart off of it and stuff, but it's still standing there looking straight towards everyone. All right, Val, you and Jinx are both up on 5.
Okay, I'm going to from the edge of, I got my poke my head up, I'm flying. So I poke my head up and I cast conjure elemental and I throw a air elemental at this thing to attack it.
All right.
So I can, conjured elemental is a 16 hit die version. So I don't know if you just want me to control it.
Yeah, you control it and do whatever it needs to do and let me know.
I'll just give it average hit points to make it easy. So I'll go 16 times 3 is, so it'll attack. It's,
all right.
It's a 16, so it needs a 5 or better on the die. So I rolled an 8, so that hits.
Yep.
It's going to do 2d6 damage. It only does 5 points of damage, though.
All right. You take some more. You take some more out of it, though.
Yeah. Let me figure out what's it.
Jinx, you see all this chaos going on as you were able to get mainly out of the way of that electrical damage, but you see the chaos going on now. What would you like to do?
Can I still attack it?
Yeah, you're in the middle. You're standing there close to it, and you can jump back in and attack as you see this elemental attacking it too.
Okay, from underneath it?
Yep, you can get it.
$15. 22. 21.
21 and we'll hit, yes.
Three physical, 3 freezing.
So 6 damage?
6 damage.
All right. You take some more out of this thing. It is up to it who rolled a 12 on its initiative. It looks towards this air elemental that is come out of nowhere and lunges and tries to bite into it.
AC 2.
Yep, so 17. Yeah, he rolled a 16 plus his bonuses. So, yeah. Ooh.
Oh, 17, yes, sir.
This thing will take, your elemental is going to take almost max damage. It'll take 11 points of damage as it bites into it. And also, I need the elemental to make me a save.
Okay. Oh, shit. Hold on. I lost the die. Let me just roll it again. There we go. It rolled a 10. How does that work exactly?
That should be. You said it's HD 16.
16, yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's going to be minimal save. So yeah, that makes it for sure.
I have to imagine. Yeah.
Yep, nothing happens to it then besides the damage it took from the bite.
Okay.
So we're up to the next round. Man, if the dragon keeps rolling like this, y'all are going to look out. Garth.
He rolled 2.
All right, Garth. How about Val?
I got a 1.
Hey. Jaren.
You're gonna laugh, but I got a 3.
Man.
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
Come on, Jinx. Did you roll a 4?
I rolled a 6.
The dragon got 11, so y'all lucked out. Val.
Okay, I'm going to I'm going to attack as the elemental first, just because I can.
All right.
But I think I'm going to cast Fusion. I just don't know if it's not immune to it. 3 hit dice or fewer automatically affected. 4 hit dice are more automatically affected. I think that it can work. It just gets a saving throw. Let me just make sure.
Okay.
That spell takes special. Creatures of 4 hit dice or more, I'm sure it's automatically resist the infusion effect until it reaches full power, which takes a number of minutes. All right, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to attack as the elemental, and
All right.
that's all I'm going to do. Here we go. That hits again.
Okay.
5 points of damage again. Same thing.
5. Okay. You take some more out of it, of course.
Okay.
So Garth.
He yells out,
Get out of the way, Jinx!
he breathes lightning fire upon the dragon once more.
Jinx, make a saving throw.
Jinx.
11. Saving throw is 5. So I guess I made it.
You did make it, but let's see. How many HP have you got, Garth, right now?
He's still at full 50.
Still at 50. Okay. The dragon passed 2. He'll take 25 points. Jinx, this time you're going to take 10 points of damage.
Yeah. The problem with saving in Dragon Breath is you're saving to take half.
That's why I'm underneath it.
You see this breath has taken quite a bit out of this thing, though, Garth. You see it start filling around, and it's trying to get its surroundings. You can tell that took a big chunk out of what's left of this thing. Jared.
Okay. Holy shit. All right, so I got a 19 and a 20. So I hit with both, but
All
I
right,
did get a critical.
Yeah, do the 19 real quick and get them damage for it.
All right. That's 4 points of damage.
All right, and you are using a bow. Let me get to that chart real quick. All right, roll me a d20 again. No modifiers, just straight d20.
That time I got a 16.
All right. You see your arrow pass over Jinx's head as she ducks down, and this arrow goes and strikes straight into the groin area of this dragon.
Okay.
As it does, you hear it yell out, and it opens its mouth, and you see the flame starts trying to appear again in its mouth. But all of a sudden, you see it just as it dissipates, and you see the form of this mist as it appears like in a 10-foot radius, and this mist is shooting straight towards where Garth is, and it curves around where the blue dragon is, and it's going straight to the corner, the southeast corner, and you see it dissipate into something in the southeast corner. The dragon, the Draco Lich, is not standing there right now.
Oh, man.
Did we kill it?
No.
The Draco Lich is standing right there?
No.
No, it dissipated into the mist and flew past you and went into the southeast corner and went into something.
Oh,
Garth says,
I head over there.
Let's follow it.
I follow it
As you get,
carefully.
I'm sorry, Daniel. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to, because this air elemental is probably pretty dangerous. I'm going to send the air elemental, and I'm going to stay back. Like, I'll stay within range, but I'm going to stay back a bit.
Yeah, so you're not going to dissipate them yet? Okay, I got you. Perfect. Those of you who go to the southeast corner see a little niche in the cavern wall. And as you start to work the rock and stuff where it is, you can tell, and you pull it out, you see something laying in there that appears to be about 6 foot long. It's wrapped up in some type of leathers and cloths and stuff.
well, I'll go ahead and pull it out.
As you reach in, Jared, and you pull it out, and you start unwrapping it, you unwrap Dragon Bane.
So, and it looked like the dragon went into this.
It definitely went into this area, yes.
So I would beckon Val to come over.
All right. I head over there.
I mean, I would hold it up so she could see that I've got.
Yeah, I'll fly towards it. I'll say, the creature is around. Be wary.
Are you sure it's not in this? That's what I want you to find out.
Do I have any way of knowing if this creature's in it? I mean, I can check magic, but I know it's magic.
Yeah, that's true.
Roll me a d6. I'll give you a chance.
Excuse me.
4.
You've never seen anything in your studies that would indicate that whatever type of dragon or creature this was, that if it would have the power or not to do this, you have no idea.
Okay. Is there? So I'm going to say, hold on to the sword for a second, and I'm going to look in the place where they pulled it out of. Is there anything else in there?
There is something. Yeah, there is something else in there. As you he was probably grabbing at it and moving it out, and if you start digging in there, you find a vial, a bottle. It's it looks like a potion bottle, but it's much taller. Maybe twice the size of a normal potion bottle that you would know from seeing alchemists use and stuff. But you pull it out, and it seems to be full of some type of liquid.
And that's why we bring Daniel.
That's Sudoka.
Huh.
You think it's in that?
Yes.
Jeez.
All right. Does that seem reasonable?
Is there any way to check for, I don't know, evil?
I mean, I have detect.
Undead?
I don't know. Does the cleric have detect chaos?
Chaos?
Speaking of the cleric, are you still in Blue Dragon form?
he is.
Because why the hell not?
I mean, unless you get that, you have to be dispelled. I don't want to waste my dispel magic on you right now, so you're gonna have to stay dragon. Sorry.
You're stuck, bro.
Because I only have the one dispel magic.
He says, let me detect magic upon it.
And then detects magic upon that little vial.
From what I know, if it's a Dracolich,
you can tell the vial itself, this potion, it is probably very strong magical properties coming from it.
now stand back, everybody. If it is indeed a Dracolich, we shall have to destroy this phylactery.
Absolutely.
And he gestures everyone to move back.
Absolutely.
And he casts Dispel Chaos upon it.
He says, by the power of the faith, destroy this vile thing of chaos.
You're casting Dispel Chaos on the bottle?
Yeah.
Spell chaos.
Dispel Chaos upon the bottle.
Yeah, let me get to that spell. I done went past it. Hold on.
Interesting.
You see the bottle start kind of boiling. The stuff inside of it start boiling a little bit and stuff, and that's all you see happen.
He says, "Uh-oh, I don't think it had the effect that I had in mind."
Well, are we 100%? Do you have detect chaos or anything like that? Is that a spell?
He doesn't have detect chaos. I mean, he does, but he hasn't prepared it.
Okay. All right. So he had detected magic on it, and then he dispelled chaos, and it bubbled. So I guess
it's kind of bubbled, and like if you was boiling water. I mean, it just started boiling and bubbling for a few seconds.
Do we know? All right. If there's, well, actually, before I do anything, I'm gonna cast detect magic on it to see if it's still magic or if that killed the magic properties.
You're casting the detect magic on the bottle itself.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think you. Let me look at this edition.
It's a 60 foot range.
Yeah,
I think detect magic that I casted earlier on is still.
Oh, it's still on. It's still going. So is it still magic? Is what I would ask him. It lasts for 20 minutes.
You get a sense of a lot of magic in this area, and roll me a d6.
Hold on. I got 6.
You all this is jumbling up in your mind and stuff. You get a lot of magic coming, where it could be from the sword or the actual presence of this Draco Lich, or if it's coming from the bottle itself. But it's all jumbling up in your mind.
He turns to the Lich and says,
"There's too much magic. Even I am a magic. I'm dragon right now. I should be mad."
Yeah. Does it seem like the dragon can get out of here somehow?
Does it seem what now? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Does it seem like the dragon priest can get out of here, or is he stuck because he's too big?
The blue dragon, the only way that he would be able to get out of here in this form would be going in that chasm, you would think.
Okay. Yeah, we got it. I think we should stay a dragon, and we should try to go outside where it's less magical to see what the deal is.
Didn't one of the rumors say that there was buried treasure in the chamber somewhere?
Yeah, I think so.
It did.
We can't come back.
The problem
we don't want the Lich to come back.
No, it must have gone somewhere. That's the thing. So it's. I want to. All right, let's.
Why don't we just destroy this thing?
Well, we don't know how.
And also, to clarify on that rumor, the rumor was that there was some type of buried treasure chamber in the mountains, but you would not know if it was related to this or not.
Oh yeah.
You know what I want to do, Tony? I'm going to have the. I'm going to have everybody back up, and then I'm going to have the air elemental go into that chamber that we revealed that had the sword in there, and do its whirlwind thing, and just rip a whirlwind inside that chamber, that small chamber, and see if it reveals anything. Basically, clearing off any of the loose debris.
Are you removing the potion bottle first, though?
Yeah. We've taken the potion bottle and
okay.
Yeah, and the sword out.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty small chamber in there, so I mean it just parts of it go in there and whirl and twist around. Yeah, it's clean now. You don't see anything else.
Yeah, I was just thinking I'd dustbuster it. That way, if there are any other, now we'll look to see if there's any other cracks in the wall that look like other chambers or anything like that.
No, it seems to be pretty secure. There's nothing that he broke nothing loose.
And we're pretty sure it went in here, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It definitely went into the crack that was here. Yes.
Okay. So
what does the cleric know about Lich disposal from his lengthy tenure?
Roll me a d6.
2.
You probably in your studies would know, maybe you didn't have experience with the actual Draco Lich itself, but in studies you've heard stories and read in history that they do have to find some type of host if they try to save themselves, that they can dissipate and try to find some kind of host to preserve themselves in.
Does he recall anything about the host disposal?
You would know that if you knew the host itself, it would probably have to be destroyed. Probably more than likely by some magical way, high-powered magical way.
So, Tony, can you look at the spell Magic Jar? Because what I want to do is, if I'm, by my interpretation, I think this might work. If I go into my Magic Jar, and then I try to possess that bottle, and it does have a soul in it, it would get a save. So it's like I have to fight the soul to knock it out. So I can kind of see if there's something in there, basically. That's my understanding. I mean, it's kind of not an exact use of the spell, but that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but if it's Magic Jar related, Dispel Chaos should have destroyed whatever that's linked to that Magic Jar.
No, I agree. But if it just this way, we'll know if it worked or not. Because if I can easily move into the bottle, that means there's no soul in it.
Cool.
Right? I mean, that would make sense. I mean, just look at it again. I think that would make sense. It's kind of an odd use of it. It's not exactly what I was planning on doing, but
you can do that if you want to project yourself into that.
I'm basically just going to see if I can go into it, because if I can, then theoretically there's not a soul in there. So I'll try that.
And you go into it and you get no sense of any other type of soul at all.
Okay, yeah. So I sit on the ground, and then like my body goes limp, almost like I'm dead, and then I'm in the jar momentarily. Then I come back out, and I erase that spell. I say, if the lich was in this jar, it is no longer here, from what I can tell. Could be in the sword though. So, and I can't press that. I only have one use of the spell.
You think the lich is in the sword?
Well, it makes sense if you think about it, because the sword may have needed a host, and that's why it came here to repossess the dragon. I think we should destroy the sword.
Or we can simply dispel any soul that is inside the sword.
That's also true. But you can't do that till tomorrow, right?
No, can't do that until tomorrow.
So rinse, repeat.
Yeah, but if this thing comes back full strength tomorrow, so we're having this conversation. I turn to the party and I say, by the way, as soon as I stop concentrating on this aerial elemental, it's going to attack us. So we probably need to get ready to kill it, and then I'll let lose control.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How powerful is it? I can perhaps breathe lightning on it.
You should breathe on it first, and yeah.
So I'm going to immediately move behind.
It's pretty powerful, but I don't think a single breath will kill it. But if we all just hit it, because it's not ready for an attack, right, Tony? So can we just get one free attack against it?
Can it fly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going. I mean, just to speed it up. I mean, you can, if you're going to let it go, the power of it, y'all can destroy it and not, take.
All right, so I'll do that. I'll let it go. That way we don't have to go through fighting it. It had 37 hit points left, so it probably would have been pretty easy to kill. Okay. I say we get out of here with the sword.
Here, hop on my back. Let's fly out of here.
I thought you'd never ask. And I jump on the back of the dragon.
Sounds good to me.
We can do that.
So
Wait a
you're all
minute,
going into the deep chasm, huh? On the dragon's back.
Of course, why not? You only live once.
That's right.
Jaren's going to climb on the back and then kind of whisper to everybody else, like, anybody ever bother asking him if he knew how to actually fly? Or are we just going to go for it?
It's much like a young bird that is pushed from the nest.
Yeah, they do hit the ground sometimes.
Up, up, and away! He starts flapping his wing. Let's go high up! And then he actually tries to take off.
Oh, God.
You go into the chasm is the blue dragon with your companions on its back, and hopefully maybe somebody took a jar or something and scraped up the ashes of what was left of Carla as you take them with you. But as you go through the chasm and you come out, finally, it seems like it's forever, but you finally come out of a huge entrance of the mountain. And as you come out, you don't see Nox, and you don't recognize this area at all. You find that you're on some other side of the mountain you've not been on before.
So as we're flying, another thing that Jaren would say was, I've been thinking about what you said, and I'm thinking that if I don't know, do you think they'll still pay us if you destroy the magic in the sword?
Are you really asking about money right now?
No,
Well, if I dispel if I dispel the chaos that's in it, it would not destroy the sword itself.
Yeah, that's right.
so we just gotta kind of hope they don't know.
No, it's like an
Sword,
exorcism.
the sword's power should still be there.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna trust you guys. I'm not really concerned about the money as much as I am. We give them a quote unquote dead sword. They could be really pissed off about that, but
And
As
then
long
I'll
as we give them a non-evil sword.
yes.
yeah.
A sword that doesn't try to take over the world.
Yeah, that count doesn't look like he could swing a sword. Believe me.
So,
Okay.
if we're flying, how long would it take for him to take the sword and everything to his enclave, his temple stronghold?
Before you do that, though, if you say that you're going to do that,
Mm-hmm.
we should probably pick up Knox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can fly around, and as Nox sees the blue dragon coming straight towards him, he passes out.
Of course.
I was expecting to have to chase him through the woods. No, wait, no, seriously.
Yep. Y'all are able to land and pick him up as he's unconscious now.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if I could take the sword to the temple because I mean, there's got to be a bunch of these acolytes and different clerics with access to dispel chaos spell.
How long does this polymorph last, Daniel?
Until dispelled. It's permanent.
Oh, okay. It's permanent.
He asks Val.
I love this dragon form, but how long does it last?
You will be a dragon until the magic is dispelled. So I will make you human again.
One day.
Yeah. Also, don't fly too close to any of the wizards, just in case.
Uh-oh.
And as we start flying in the direction of the enclave, I'll cast invisibility 10-foot radius and try to get us all invisible. So that way we don't draw attention as a dragon.
Yeah, you can do that good enough, and you can make it back to your temple.
Yeah, he enters in. He's in his normal form now, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we land near there. I dispel it. And
Okay. Yeah, so he basically approaches one of his temple clerics, one of the higher ups, one of his lieutenants, or I don't know what the proper title would be. But anyway, he says, "Wow, we have brought the sword, and we believe that the soul of the lich, the Draco Lich, is held within. Let us prepare a ritual to dispel chaos within this sword."
Your higher superior looks at you and he goes, "That is a very wise thing. You have not had the studies that I have. That is a wise decision. We should begin on it immediately. Bring it down. You will be able to stand in as we do this. The rest of your friends must not attend this. You know, our ceremonies of such are things that do not need to be seen by people outside of the order."
No problem.
I think you're totally okay with it.
Need to know.
Yep. He relays that information to his companions and complies.
Yeah, Jared would have zero issue with that.
Yep, you'll take it. You'll take it in, Garth. And while the rest of them are waiting, and as you take it down to have it dispelled of chaos from the sword known as Dragon Bane, we're actually going to start to end the session here. As this is going on, tell me, Garth, how does the story end? as you were doing this ceremony with your higher ups?
Um, so he's pretty convinced that this is the proper way to destroy the phylactery of the Draco Lich. So afterwards, as soon as possible, he seeks the oh yeah, by the way, he takes the ashes of Carla and hands it over to one of his associates to have her properly interred. And as he turns around and enters the temple chambers before he meets with the rest of his friends, enters the confessional and says that she was the best lover I've ever had. May the faith forgive me for breaking my vow of celibacy. That's the end.
Val, how does the story end for Val?
So Val is intrigued by this area, and assuming that the priests have it under control, she heads back in search of the treasure that is hidden, more looking for signs of what magic the dragon may have had, because she knows dragons often have piles of treasure, but also piles of magic. So she heads off into the wilderness. Where she's seen again, nobody knows.
All right. What about Jerry, our woodsman?
So Jaren would, when it was all said and done, just kind of turn and kind of look at Val and look at Jinx at the same time and say, I've done a lot of traveling. Most of the time I do it alone. But I got to say that the two of you are two of the most interesting women I've ever known or ever traveled with. So if you ever need someone to, for any kind of job or adventure that you're doing, feel free to try and find me. I would have no problems accompanying either one of you. And kind of look at both of them and say, and in fact, the first round of wine is on me. If we find a place that actually serves one that's decent.
Thank you, sir. The honor is all mine.
All right, Jinx. How does the story end for Jinx?
If Val will enjoy the company, I would go with her to help reclaim some of the treasure. She can have whatever she's interested in, and I'll look to see what I'm interested in.
All right, perfect. Crystal, are you still with us?
You know I'm still here.
Well, you tell me what the afterlife holds for Carla.
During the night, you could imagine almost like a camera is at the top of this temple, and it zooms in and kind of goes down the hallways into the undercroft and everything, where the warriors are buried, the great warriors. It lands on this statue of Carla Bearhugger, clad in her bone skulled armor, wielding a big battle axe. It goes under that statue to the glass bottle which contains the ashes of Carla. A little light kind of pops up in this glass bottle, and it floats up and it goes out of the temple, out into the air. It starts to fly away and away and away, all the way to this cave where this Dracolich killed her, where she drew her last breath. She goes into the cavern and around the tunnels and down to where that coin was flipped so long ago. And she goes down this tunnel, down and down and down and down, until finally she reaches the bottom, a hot, heavy, lava-filled area where across the way a group is running from a giant black dragon of molten lava. She finds that slightly interesting, but as she looks around, she finds under a part of the rubble a small, eternally lit copper coin on heads. And you hear ha 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 echo throughout the cavern.
I knew that's where that was going.
Wow.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Wow. Perfect.
Perfect.
I don't think I can beat that, but I'm going to try. This is how the story ends. You return back after what you think successfully has been transpired at the Temple Superiors of Garth. You travel back to the Count's castle and return the beautiful sword known as Dragon Bane to him and his family, hoping that it will never be needed again. The Count pays you royally for your time, more money than you can imagine. I mean, you've already got money and riches and things yourselves of your career, but he pays you rewardly for it. They take the sword, display it again for the public to come and see and hear the legends and the stories behind it. Everything seems to be at peace and wonderful. Knox himself goes and takes the money that he was given rewardly and prosperously, and he leaves. He leaves the village after seeing the blue dragon. That was just too much for him. Even after he woke up and y'all explained to him what was going on, that's just too much for him. He was actually on the run from being a convict. He was a wanted convict. That's why he was nervous all the time. But anyway, Knox leaves the area. We go back and we see Garth walking down the stairs into this dark, candlelit chamber with his temple superiors. They had the sword Dragon Bane. One of his superiors turns and looks at Garth and he goes, "Well done. Well done. Let us dispel the chaos in this sword so you can return it to the Count." Garth, you feel very tired and very lightheaded and very sleepy, and you look at your superior and you go, "Oh man, it's been rough. It was horrible to see my friend burn to death like that, and man, we had a hard time getting it, but thanks. I think I'm going to sit over here on the bench and rest." You go and you sit on a bench there as they prepare the ceremony and start the ceremony. You nod off for just a moment, what you think is just a moment. You see the temple superiors turn and look. "Now, do it now." You see one of them reaching a robe and he pulls out a red gem, a beautiful red gem. They get down and look at the red gem that is on the sword Dragon Bane. That's perfect enough, just perfect. They start prying the red gem off Dragon Bane. They take it, lay it into this golden platter. They take the red gem out of the pocket, the temple superior, and they start etching and putting it back on the Dragon Bane. They all get up and look at it, and they make sure you're still out. Perfect. Oh, just perfect. They pick the one up of the golden platter, and they start chanting something that you would not understand anyway. And you hear one of them go look at it, and they see it start glowing and glowing bright red. And you see them all go, "Yes, Master, we will prevail. We will prevail." That is the end of the story known as Deep in the Dragon's Breath, using the sword Dragon's Bane for my Seven Swords campaign.